Previously in our adventure, oh man, I can actually hear the music. This is so thrilling. Previously in our adventure, our Unit 3 party found themselves traversing through the northern end of the Featherfawn Wood, where they found a ruins with a strange summoner acolyte type of character, seemingly roasting bodies over a fire in an underground temple. The party was quick to attack and thwart him, even though he called forth some unsavory bipedal alligator type creatures that weren't very friendly. But alas, they put them promptly down and found some nice treasure for themselves, along with some devil skeletons. And though they were a bit bruised, a bit beaten up, there was no respite for them as they came up from the temple to find a spry old woman scavenging the camp, who offered them a reward they couldn't refuse if they could beat her in a race out of the Featherfawn Wood. And the party working together, some moving faster than others, but those who were moving slower, helping in the effort to slow the old lady, allowing Morella to soar through the northern end of the Featherfawn Wood. Kinsel making a big move, faking out the old lady, Edeline, the cut purse, though she vehemently hates that name and requests not to be called by it. Kinsel faking her out, letting her fall, and Unit 3 soars to victory, finding themselves in an unnamed outpost, reaching Listener's Lake. Kelm relaying the information to the Great Gull and sending it on its way. Your official business with Hokata Bay ending. Now only looking to repair the Sending Spire, which is a major means of communication for the entire southern part of the continent, which you now have a map to, a proper official map, which is very rare. So careful not to take it out all willy-nilly. Who has that, by the way?
I don't know.
Did it get handed to me?
I don't think we said.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, because Emmy won, right?
I got there first.
Yeah, Morella got there
Okay,
first, so I
we'll
think
say Morella has
we nudged her to get the.
Oh
the
yeah,
map.
we did.
So,
Yeah, it's in my equipment.
Okay, cool. Early on in the evening, arriving to this sort of slapdash shantytown outpost, you discover a commotion over 3 different tables of Arkaze, or mana marble as it's known, to all but Tink, who has not yet seen the game played. 2 of the tables in this commotion are sort of ho-hum, but one of the tables has a very angry man picking up a young 15-year-old Fire Ganassi by his scruff and threatening to hurt him, calling him a cheater. You do overhear that he claimed to have been called Koga, and seemingly he could smell you as you approached the crowd and turned over his shoulder to issue a jab towards you all. And as the sun begins to set for the night, Unit 3, with, of course, its new member from Unit 2, Tink Finn, begins to see what they want to do at this small, unnamed outpost at Listener's Lake. And there you are.
What was the last thing the Ganassi guy said to us?
He says, "It's you losers from the boat. Didn't think you'd make it out of the wood." And you're pretty far away. He smelled you through the crowd somehow.
It's creepy. That's real creepy.
And I'll give you a little a little DM wink. Let's just say that certain people who came over from the boats from Azal have certain quirks that allow them to do one special thing. And you don't know Fire Ganassi to have a particularly good sense of smell, but this kid does. So there you are.
Tink's gonna look around, and not knowing the person, he's gonna lean into Kinzel and say, "Do you know that guy?"
He was on our boat when we got here. Ran off rather hastily. Wanted nothing to do with us.
He doesn't seem
Not
like a very
nice.
nice fellow.
I concur, yes.
You see him kind of do the classic like poker table thing where he pulls in this big mound of gold that was on the table for this game, and you just see this old man with kind of a white beard, just sort of like, just like super upset. But he did lose, so there's nothing he can quite do. And you see Koga sort of piling the gold into his bag, and he sort of slings it over his back and starts to walk out of the crowd.
I'll follow him. And as we get like a little bit of distance between the crowd, I will holler, "Oga. That's your name then?"
He kind of like looks over his shoulder, not even giving you like the full courtesy to turn back to you, and he's like, don't wear it out.
You made it here with speed. I am impressed. You came
pretty
go
easy
ahead.
when you're not lugging around a giant owl.
Kinzel lets off a little chuckle to that. I find it odd that you would join this expedition only to come and pursue I know not what in this place. What is your purpose here? Why did you come?
He turns around fully to face you and sort of walks up within like a foot or two of you and sort of like is looking up at you. And he's just like, he says, you know those monsters that come?
Yes.
I'm going to be the one to kill them. Simple as that.
It's confident of you. Did you find out information on them?
You think I would share that with you, Ganassi? I'm the superior Ganassi. You're just a water Ganassi. But for your information, yes, I have found information.
Kinzel like taken aback by that. I don't know.
I would say like it's not as racially charged as like it's not like racist, but it would be kind of akin to like someone with like blonde hair being like blondes are better than brunettes or something like that. Like
Okay,
it's kind of like it's kind of harmless, but it's still kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Still a jab. Man. If you're not willing to share, then I hope you don't die alone.
He sort of like walks like straight into you, like just bumping your shoulder, even though his shoulder only reaches up to like your waist. He's actually even short for how old he is, and he just walks past you and he says, "Die alone? I'm not gonna die at all." And he begins to walk west.
As I rejoin the group, I don't like that one.
Does it look like he's like leaving the camp?
Make a perception check.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Good way to start.
Good
Yeah.
way to start.
That's a
Yeah.
good way to start. No, he's certainly not leaving the camp. You see him just go kind of up lake a little bit, still within eye shot for those with a keen eye, and he sort of begins to set up his own little camp kind of at the lake. It is getting late, and you guys all know it's not advisable to travel at night in the Feather Fawn Wood. There's some strange things out there. But with that natural 20, you also notice something coming from the west. You notice this giant caravan coming towards you. It's pretty far off and no one else can see it yet. But it's like a big, it doesn't look like threatening. It's just kind of like a big canvas caravan.
Is there really only like one road into the...
There's actually no roads. You guys came out of the north end of the woods.
And it was just like a plain, right?
You
like
just
an
pretty
open
much
field?
came up to a lake, just on the fringe of the tree line. So this is just like a little outpost on the edge of the lake. There's no roads. It's basically just shoreline as far as you can see. Listener's Lake is gigantic, so you can't really see much in either way besides just a massive lake in front of you, trees behind you, and you kind of see the Feather Fawn Wood sort of growing and thickening as you look back.
Did I see if anyone was with him or had joined him?
Nope, he's completely by himself.
All right, I'm just gonna turn to the group and just let them know that I see the caravan.
Well, perhaps it's not that odd to see a caravan coming this way. I don't know.
Well, the outpost has to get supplies somehow, right?
Fair. Very fair.
The closer it comes, you notice, as Ansta says that, you notice something odd about it. It has like these little magical lights kind of strung upon it, and as it comes closer, it looks like almost like a traveling circus or something. Even though it's just one canvas cart, it's very well adorned, and it sort of pulls in, and people sort of are rushing up to it. And on the side, you see this face of this beautiful Triton woman, and she has these like fins that stick out of the side of her face with these red webbing, and she has like beautiful red hair and even like some tentacles kind of coming out of it. And she's gorgeous, and it's like painted all across the side of the wagon. And as it approaches a little bit more, people that have been sort of previously surrounding the game of Arkaze sort of are like, oh, they're here. We didn't think they'd get here till tomorrow. And they sort of rush towards it.
Can I like kind of try to class somebody that's running by on the shoulder and be like, who is that?
Sure, you've got like this halfling, this sort of unusually tall halfling woman, and she says, "Oh, well, that's Mikat and the Serenade, one of the best traveling troops around. No idea what business they'd have in an outpost like this, but word was they'd be coming and playing here tomorrow morning. They're not the best for tavern music, but they say if you awaken to Mikat and the Serenade, you'll have the best day you can imagine." Ryan?
How fortunate.
That button, our favorite button.
Loop it up there so it doesn't fall down. Yeah, I let her kind of, yeah. I just wanted to know.
Do we see what's the orange Ganassi's name?
His name's Koga, or so you heard.
Does it look like this is piquing his interest, or like he's moving in that direction?
It actually is. Only still your natural 20 riding. You can kind of see. You guys can all probably see him setting up like a little fire on the coast.
Can I? And he doesn't know who I am.
Him stand up. No, he doesn't know who you are.
Okay. Can I like? I'm not like intentionally trying to intercept him as he gets closer, but like, can I walk at an angle so that I'm relatively close to where he stands when he is like a spectator?
He's not walking over, but he's standing at his camp, like turned to look.
Oh.
So you can tell that he's interested.
Okay.
So you could go over and talk to him if you want to.
No, I'm gonna wait for that.
It sort of just trots past, just and sort of wheels in next to the Arkaze tables, which is like the bigger clearing next to all of these sort of straw-roofed huts and some sort of humble people that are just sort of gutting fish and hanging them. And most Triton or merfolk or water ganassi who are in the fishing business have learned a very simple like freezing spell, if you guys remember from the first episode. So they keep the fish on ice. It's all pretty humble compared to what you saw in Hokata Bay, which were like whale-sized fish being hauled in and giant nets of crabs. Just some simple fish being skinned. The sun is going down, and you see a lot of the people who are sort of bopping around this outpost are setting up camps and sort of setting down their packs and making fires. And the night is coming to an end, and you see the Mikat and the Serenade. You see her kind of in the distance stepping off and actually carrying like a big bag of canvas, and with a couple of other guys, just a mixture of like human and halfling, are carrying this sort of pieces of this sort of stage set to kind of the shore. And they kind of begin to set up this kind of little kind of stage with like a backdrop curtain, and they sort of begin to sort of try and raise that up, and they begin to set it up. And even Mikat herself is helping. And that's where the evening's at.
There he is. We should probably set camp. Would it be wise to see if we can't get any information out of the people around here?
We could always ask. It seems that anytime we've asked people about the creatures in particular, that they've been too frightened to talk about them, but maybe since they're closer to Listener's Lake here, they'd be willing to say something about it? I don't know.
Yes, that and the thing that Tink had seen a couple nights back, the water weird. I would be interested to see if they know about this.
It's possible.
You see one notable figure, sort of a tall, kind of lean orc, sort of narrow features for an orc, and sort of like a cloth cap on, sort of directing people and showing people where they can set up. And last episode, right at the end, when Koga was called out for cheating, he was the one who ruled in and said it was all fair play. And he seems to kind of be running things around here. Other than that, you just see general camps around, people settling down, and the Mikat and the Serenade setting up their stage.
I suppose
I wonder...
Yep, go ahead.
You go.
No, you hang up.
You do it! No, I wonder if perhaps we would be able to get any information out of them tonight, since it seems like there's going to be a bit of a distraction, and I gesture towards where they're setting up. I feel like perhaps they may not wish to talk about unpleasant things when more pleasant things are going on. That doesn't mean we can't ask, I just don't know if they'd want to talk about it.
Well, asking in the morning also wouldn't be very wise, since once again they'll all be distracted if they're setting up tonight and playing in the morning.
Fair.
Kelm sort of gestures to you guys, and he's sort of like holding his arm as well. He's like, well, I didn't have to participate in the racing, but we don't all look very healthy now, do we?
We could use our rest.
Rest would be good.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should inquire about a spot.
We could ask, yes. I still think we should take watches.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sleeping, if you guys remember, we'll always be doing the same system. Sort of assumed that between the five characters, they've figured out a way to watch throughout the night. So it's just a group night watch roll.
Yeah, before we sleep, I guess if we can, approach the individual that seems to be kind of directing things. This was not the orc. That was the guy that had him by the... Sorry.
No, he's an orc.
Oh, he is an orc. Okay.
Yeah. He has just humble sort of leather garb on, and he's rather bony for an orc. Doesn't look like he eats much, but he does seem to be kind of directing things. And you kind of just see him. He's like, over here, over here, over here. Yeah, you settle over there. And he started directing people around.
Sir, we need a spot if we can get one.
The group that raced Edeline out of the forest. You must be crazier than you all look. And you beat her. Yeah, commendable.
I must be honest, some of us beat her.
One of us beat her.
Well, I know Adeline. She's a frequent around here, and she never races one-on-one. She always races groups, so if one of you beat her, you all did. Trust me, I've been a part of racing her many times and never have won, even with 6 or 7 orcs my size.
Oof. She was fast. Unbelievably fast.
I gather that you all probably thought to stop her and have one of you race. A smart strategy. I tried to stop her once and she clobbered me with a clog.
How unfortunate.
Oh.
All the same, it's getting late. I'll be turning in for the night. If you need a lot to sleep in, there's one just over there. And he points to a pretty nice primetime lot, and he sort of winks. He gives you a wink, and he says, for those who can beat Adeline, you deserve it.
Thank you, sir.
And then some of the groups that follow behind you, he kind of gives like crappier lots. You see it. Okay.
Beautiful. Did we catch his name?
Didn't ask for it.
Not.
We did
We
not.
didn't.
Oops. We'll ask in the morning.
There is a morning.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Okay. Anything else before setting up camp?
Can we just assume that I go take a little bath? Is the lake close enough to bathe in? Because I'm all muddy.
You sure you want to go in the lake?
The lake where all the monsters are?
Not when you put it like that.
Well,
Hey, I'm just trying to remind you.
how far away is the lake? Like from where our...
Okay, well, let's put it this way. You guys can like bathe. There's like water troughs around and things like that. But you could go. The lake is really close. I mean, these are like huts right on the shoreline, so you could get to the lake. It's probably 30 feet away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a nice little bath.
In the lake?
Yeah, just kind of humming away.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Oh no!
Oh, and then Tink got eaten.
Not like this.
Goodbye, Tink.
Oh, that would be so bad.
Goodbye.
Is there any way I can go down with him? I have no interest in a bath, but I would definitely be interested in the lake.
Cancel.
Okay, sure, yeah, you can go with him. Kelm's gonna just start setting up cots and tents and logs and fire and stuff. It's not a swimmer.
I rolled a 12.
Okay. Kinsel, what's your role in this?
Sure. Starting off strong with that 1.
Go
Got a total of 6.
That's a tough one. So Tink is like covered in like these cartoon bubbles, and he's like washing his armpits, and he has like a mysterious like brush, and he's like scrubbing his back. and Kinsel comes up, and he just starts talking to you really loudly, Tink, and you just start kind of turned, and he's just like, hey, so did you know that I'm from the lake and I'm from the water? And he's just totally distracted you. And from under the water, while you're listening to Kinsel talk to you aimlessly about just general water things, you feel something kind of curl around your ankle.
Ah,
Oh,
Oh,
please be a
no.
catfish. Please be a catfish.
What would
Goodbye.
you like to do?
Is it a tight grab or is it just slowly?
It's just slowly coming around your ankle right now.
Oh no.
Tink's eyes are gonna like widen, and he's gonna take that brush, or like the mat, like whatever you,
Yeah, like this
pull out of
classic
nowhere.
like bathtub scrub
Yeah,
brush.
and then he's just gonna swat in the general direction and go Kenzo, and just start smacking in the direction.
Once you start swatting with it, you see like just like a bunch of like kelp attached to the brush, and you flip your leg, and it's just like a bunch of weeds in the water.
I didn't tell you I'm a master fisherman.
That still should come in handy.
Clearly,
I'm putting this in my notes. I'm putting Tink takes a bath and is attacked by weeds. I'm putting that in there.
yeah. And then,
So yeah, you're nice and clean.
sweet. Anxiety attack though, for sure.
Oh.
Kinzel remains to be distracted by everything. But,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anything else before settling in?
I don't think so. Oh, I actually, when we're all kind of, in the same area, I pull a small pouch from my bag and I say, "These were given to us at the beginning of the excursion here. Some sort of candy. My father always said a hard day work deserved a reward, so here," and I kind of pass the bag around for everybody to take one. I'll take one for myself.
Sure. Is this the fish
Oh.
candy?
Yeah, this is the fish candy from Vance.
Fish candy. Okay.
They're sort of wrapped in this thin, waxy paper. And does everyone take one? Kelm's going to take one.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And Sis
And
takes one.
if you recall, he cautioned you. He said they're not for everybody, but some people love them.
Oh boy.
Can I do like a history
Okay.
check or something to see if I know what they are?
I mean, yeah, they're pretty much...
I don't know that I've seen these, or was this session one?
It's unlike... Yeah, it was session one. Or no, well, it was at the beginning of the session when you came, but you weren't technically there.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
care package left for the party.
All right, well, I'm just gonna like take one and just kind of look at it. Can I just do some kind of check, insight
Sure.
check, or
Yeah.
not good. 6.
Oh.
Yeah, you would have
Candy
needed
check.
a natural 20 anyways. These are
Oh, okay.
these
Well,
are like fishing. Kinsel might know, depending on how you roll, but these are like staples of like a fishing community. It's like kind of like to test your salt. It's like if you like this, then you know that you live in a fishing harbor town. So they're in this sort of thin, waxy paper, and you unfurl them, and it's just this chunky, almost like gory-looking morsel, and it's just kind of blistery and bubbly, and it looks quite horrifying.
I'm gonna try it.
No questions asked.
Okay, yeah, Kelm will pop it in as well.
Yeah, Anstis tries it.
Try anything once, man. Try anything once.
I'm gonna act like I swallow it and then like put it down like the sleeve of my robe and just be like, yeah.
Oh.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, come on, baby. 13.
Okay, you do that.
Hey.
I see.
So, what do you guys think of them? The candies are, if you guys know like what fish sauce is, imagine that times fish sauce is like fermented fish that's like dried over the course of like a couple of years and then like liquefied. It's very potent, but it's used in like a lot of Asian recipes. But imagine that times like 6. This is made from rare Hokata Bay fish straight out of the ocean that just kind of sit and ferment and bake in the sun for months on end, and it just
You guys know
explodes
those
in a
super
fishy...
sour balls? Super sour balls, like the look you get on your face when you have a super sour ball.
Yeah.
That's probably the look on Mira's face, and she's just like, okay, okay.
Ants just laughs at Mira.
She's good with it.
Oh, this is so bad.
She doesn't like it, but she's used to eating whatever she can find.
Yeah, Mira's not. Well, I mean, she is, but she's not. She can eat what she finds, but she's used to finer things.
They're delicious.
So what's your take?
They are delicious. We'll have another.
So yeah, Kinsel's just chomping him down, right up his alley. Kelm just matter-of-factly spits it out, just like
Yeah, I see you.
Kind of a gross bird regurgitation noise happens, and he just spits it out in a very matter-of-fact way without much reaction. Didn't like it.
I mean, she swallowed it. She ate the candy, but ew, no. She watches Kelm spits it out, and she just nods. She just nods, like and then she immediately goes for her water canteen.
Ants just looks at Kinsel and just says, "How is he doing that, guys? How?"
I don't know. It's wild.
He just had another.
Okay. Well, I think we know who will be eating most of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy them, though. Enjoy them.
They're all yours.
They're all yours.
You're sure?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yes, certainly.
The biggest smile you've seen yet comes off your face.
You can have all the fish candy.
Okay. So the bedrolls are set up, nice cozy fire. You have this sort of field of little, small, humble fires across the coastline, in sort of maybe like a neighborhood block kind of radius. And you guys are all ready to go down for the night?
Can I ask what the moon is like tonight?
Yeah, it's like probably like a quarter-ish moon. It's I think it was a new moon. I don't know that much about moon cycles, but it was a new moon like a couple nights ago when you looked out, if you recall, when you were at the cabin with the Dead Oath guy and the Capron guy.
Right.
It's probably like a quarter-ish moon. So it's like kind of thin, but it looks really pretty. It's like the DreamWorks moon.
Okay. Well, before we go to bed, I'm going to alternate between like looking up at the moon and like examining the ball of moving smoke that I wear on the necklace around my neck. I'm just going to alternate between looking at those two things.
Okay.
I just slipped in my own chair.
So let's say that Marilla will just have taken first watch.
Sure thing.
And let's go ahead and roll our night watch check here.
Perception, correct?
Yep.
Perception.
Oh my gosh. 7.
I rolled a 5.
Jesus, I rolled a 16.
14.
Okay. The nice kind of breeze coming off the lake and just sort of the comfort of knowing that you're surrounded by not necessarily friends, but you're surrounded by people, and you can sort of rest easy knowing that it's not like anything too crazy will happen during the night. There's people pretty much spread all around, and the night goes by uneventfully. As the sun rises, it sparkles off of the lake, and there are two things you notice in waking. First is a really lovely smell that's really intense, coming right towards you, right nearby you. And as you stir, Kelm, who usually asks for last watch so he can kind of be the first up, has prepared a nice sort of veggie stew and some nice some of the dried fish that Vance had given. So you have a nice kind of stew and fish, not fish stew, but like a veggie stew with some cooked fish. And so you have a nice breakfast waiting for you. It smells really nice, maybe a little spicy, as he tends to do. But what's even making you feel even better this morning is the gentle serenading sounds of Mikat and her band, who are now in full. They're probably in the middle of her set, and you notice that a lot of the folks who have been camping around you have gathered kind of near to this sort of stage, and it's now fully erected, and you see it's this nice turquoise backdrop, and it's pretty small, but it's probably like a 3 or 4 foot high little lift they stand on. Sort of the cart has sort of transformed into the stage, and the band is dressed very elegantly in all of these reds and teals, and the instruments are all very gentle. The drummer kind of plays with these brushes, kind of keeping it very light. There's a harp and a pan flute, and Mikat herself sort of just gently sings and sort of blends in with the music, and it's very nice to wake up to. It would not stir anyone from their sleep, but in waking, it is very soothing, sort of easing you into your morning. What would you guys like to do?
Hey, Chad. Like
Yeah.
every morning, I'm going divination, so I roll my 2 20s, but then I also have my amulet. So like, do you want me to interrupt you like every time we have a long rest, or do you just want to assume that I do that and like keep track
I'll
of it?
assume that you do it. If you get like one of the wacky reactions, then just let me know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just don't want to have to like interrupt you every long rest to do that shit. But okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I mean, as long as you're not like, hey, by the way, I rolled a natural 20 again today for the 17th time. But yeah.
No. The only interaction will be if I give the amulet to someone, so that'll be it.
Okay, sounds good.
Anstis is
so you've
going
awoken?
to. Sorry.
Mhm.
She wakes up just a little early so she can look out at the horizon and do her morning prayers and choose my spells.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
Do you want to say your prayer or just say that you did it?
I haven't made anything up yet.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
we'll
That's
just say
okay.
I did it for now.
As you wake up, you have some nice veggie stew and some fish, nicely seasoned and hot, and easing you into your day. You see the Mikat and the Serenades they sort of ramp their setup as the morning kind of goes, and they sort of play along with it, going from more gentle to more, maybe a little bit more kind of rocking a little bit. And you see Mikat herself, this just beautiful Triton woman, and she sort of has this way of moving that's very hypnotic. And as you might expect, a lot of the men have sort of gathered around. They're very fascinated by her. And as she sings these beautiful notes, piercing the turquoise backdrop, you see these 2 giant black beak fangs come through and sever her in half. Two
What
arms,
the hell?
two
Wait,
arms
what?
poke through the backdrop and tear it down like Jurassic Park style. And you just see this black, slimy, tarry, fleshy creature romping about on the stage, just like
What
like
the
you
hell,
know,
man?
when like a when like a monster eats, like a crocodile eats like some meat. It's It's just feasting upon this band.
Oh my god.
What would you guys like to do?
Kinsel asks, "Is this part of the act?"
Tink's like, wow.
People are in duress, right? Like like the people that are watching, we're seeing some sort of commotion, I assume.
You're sort of in like bullet time, freeze time mode right now. So the monster has burst through. Its beak-like mouth pierces the turquoise backdrop that they have set up. I mean, it's come straight out of the lake, and it just like scissors her right in half, and starts to like engorge upon her body. And the band members are trying to escape, but it sort of traps them with like a big spiky foot, and they're just like screaming for help. And you guys are just sort of standing there, like the volume kind of drains from your ears, and you're just like, what the hell is happening?
What the hell is happening?
I'm just gonna Tink's gonna immediately just like go down and touch his book and close his eyes and cast Mage Armor.
Okay.
I mean, Kinsel will head in the direction of all this, assuming it does look bad. Then yeah, I will try to help.
How far away?
Anstis is gonna run too.
You're pretty close. You are probably 40 or 50 feet off.
Okay, then I don't need to move. I'm exactly where I need to be, and I get my bow out.
Okay. So for the first time, you guys have all laid eyes upon a creature from the water. And it's just one of them. Or so it looks. And it is larger than you ever could have fathomed. About the height of the very stagecoach itself that the stage is coming from. Big enough to eat a Triton whole right in front of you. But as you guys know, this is a very populated area. So actually, I don't like this song that much. Every man, woman, every orc, goblin, halfling in the place turns, and with whatever they have, whether it be magic or bow and arrow or crossbow or sling or javelin or harpoon, or if they don't have any ranged weapons, you see a big pack of folks just rushing it. And you do see little Koga like right in front leading the charge. He's got not a weapon on him, just running at it. And you guys all unleash upon it, firing from afar, Morella shooting a bow. And you just see like so much stuff flying at this thing. Like everybody has just, they're like, everyone's like, ah! And everyone just starts shooting.
Raid boss.
And you just see arrows sticking it or ice shards sticking into its body. A lot of the magic that's happening is getting just caught up on this weird black fleshy stuff that's hanging off of its body. A lot of the arrows are getting deflected by it, but it's just a complete volley of magic and ranged attacks. And before any of the rushing orcs or tieflings that are running towards it can even get there, it is just beaten back and just by so many attacks, and it just sort of tumbles back into the water. And like a hot tub, you just see these black bubbles coming out of the shallow drift of the lake, just kind of. And everyone just is like looking around, like, what the fuck?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And you hear a very unceremonious as a harp string breaks and the band is just laid waste to upon the stage. Just some are cut in half. Most have fully been eaten.
Oh. Can Anstis like run and try to find survivors and try to help anyone that was injured?
Yeah, you can try and do that.
Can I run like into the lake? Like I see this thing kind of fall in.
Yep.
And I've been told that it'll kind of dissipate into the grounds when it's outside. I dive in because I want to get a view of what's happening under the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow
Okay.
Kinzel and just like chase after him.
I'm going with Anstis. I'm going to help.
So, because there were a lot of people that were already rushing it, who have kind of a head start on you, you see a couple of folks coming out of the group, going into yet further into the lake, sort of trying to like scoop up remnants and things and trying to catch it in vials and trying to figure out what the heck it is, or you don't know what their intentions really are, but you finally get there and there are a couple of black tarry bubbles left kind of blurping.
And there's no like substance to whatever this thing was. It's just this tar left over.
That's what you can see on the surface right now.
I can breathe underwater. I'm going in. Like, if I can, I will go in.
I'm just
Sure,
looking
yeah.
to see if I have some type of vessel I can put the tar in, but I don't think that I actually do. How do I not have just a vial or something? Yeah.
Yeah, vials are one of those things where
You have a cup with your mess kit? You have a mess kit?
That's gross.
I don't know. I'll keep looking.
okay, Kinsil. You sort of, you don't dive in. I mean, you're on the shore, so but
Yeah,
you sort
yeah.
of make your way in very deftly, and you get under the water, and you just see kind of wisps of smoke, and it really does disintegrate and dissolve in a really absolute way to where the lake water is left like pretty pure and crisp. And as you kind of investigate underneath, maybe you're like 4 feet down, you don't see any signs of anything further. Seems like a rogue creature.
All right. Yeah, I mean, if looking around I don't see much, I will just come back to the surface. That's interesting.
Anstis and Morella.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are rushing to the stage.
Yeah.
So because it was a performance, the people that were watching and the stage do have like a good amount of space between them. So fortunately for the onlookers, and unfortunately for the band, it was only the troop that got eaten. You see the lower half of Mikat, her beautiful Triton legs, her upper half got just sort of eaten up.
Oof.
The other 3 members are sort of in similar scenarios of part of their bodies have been eaten. Some have just been slashed and spiked apart, but nobody alive. Just
Can't
a
just
bloody
leave them.
stagecoach stage with a big torn up turquoise curtain hanging and just sort of like...
Okay.
We can't leave them here.
Can't what?
We can't just leave them here.
Yeah. Let's gather some of the people around and try to do what we can, I guess.
So yeah, the collective outpost kind of gathers around, help clean up the bodies. You see people that are still sort of investigating the water. You see people that are kind of tearing down the stage and sort of setting it back into the caravan. The bodies are dealt with pretty promptly. You see the orc man sort of dictating a lot of this as to where things go and whatnot. You see Koga standing by the effort, and he's not really helping to pick up anything. He's actually just packing up his own things, and he sort of continues back off west. And as he's walking out, he looks to Anstis, and he says, "See that? That's what I'm not going to let happen anymore. To the west in Eagle's Omen, They haven't had a single monster attack, ever. And they say there's some crazy guy who knows why. Might be smart for you to go there, but I'll probably have already figured it out. And with a little kaboom out of his boot, he sort of sprints far down the line of the lake.
Would
He rubbed
be
the wrong
easier
way.
if we all worked together, but if he
I
wants
can't
to
hear
be,
you!
keep running, you little jerk.
So the camp gets pretty well cleaned up, and you guys also kind of get your stuff together. And the general sense between everybody around is pretty somber, but everybody who's at this outpost has somewhere to be. For some reason, they've come to this small place that's not particularly special. And as people sort of peel off and head out, you do notice one strange figure that's stood way aside, off to the east of the lake, kind of in the opposite position to where Koga had set up his little camp. And this is a very strange sight. It seems to be this sort of spindly figure, and you can hear some noise coming from it, but you can't really make it out. It's sort of shrouded in atmosphere of the lake. But other than that, you can just see people packing up their things.
And we can't get a good look at what this figure is? Like what?
Yeah, you can. You just have to walk over to it. You're kind of on the west side of the camp. It's kind of on the east side.
Does Anstis see it too, or is...
Yeah, everybody sees it. You can see it from your camp.
Okay.
It's just, you just didn't notice it before because people were more like going about their lives, but now that the attack has happened, people are kind of thinning out.
Okay. I just sort of like lightly nudge Anstis and like gesture to the figure, like, should we take a look, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Kelm's gonna come with you. It stands out pretty noticeably. So you go over towards it, and I've got a handout for you guys.
Ooh, fun.
I'm just gonna call it thing. Oh, bless you.
Bless you.
Sorry.
So you walk over to this figure, and as you get closer, it doesn't seem to have a camp or any belongings with it or anything. And the closer you get, you see this sort of polished wood figure. Seems to be maybe a statue or something made out of this nice light colored wood with a shiny lacquer on it. And it's just holding a sign, but the anatomy doesn't look quite normal. It's like the legs are really long and the torso is really short, so it looks kind of weird. I'm gonna show it to you guys right now, and it's holding a sign that just says "Require help," and it's just sort of standing there, completely motionless, and it has some dust and dirt on it, but other than that dust and dirt, it looks very immaculately constructed. So are just the two of you and Callum approaching, or what's Kinsel and Tink doing?
Kind of. Well, sometime in the moment after that attack, I would have liked to seek out the orc-ish individual that was kind of directing things. Just had a couple of questions for him. I don't know if you want to play that out.
We can do that separately. So we can just say that's going on at the same time.
Okay.
Tink?
Yeah, I didn't have anything to put the tar in, so as soon as Kinsel gets out, I'm gonna give him just like a little cloth towel to like wipe his face off. And then I think it's smart to approach the orc, so I'll follow him.
Okay. So Morella, Kelm, and Anstis, you approach this thing, and the closer you get, you hear sort of this sound on relay, and it's just like it just kind of says, require help, require help, require help. And it sort of jitters a little bit, and you hear sort of like, just like sort of gears kind of clinking and sparks a little bit coming out from his back, and it's just on a loop. Require help, require help. And you see this big, if you guys can see this, a big sort of vertical rectagonal kind of eye thing, and which is just there's nothing in it. It looks like it's like a burnt out light bulb.
Can we make some sort of check to see if we know what this is?
Yeah.
Sure. What kind of check do you want to do what kind of way do you want to think about it?
I'm gonna go history. Can I make a history check to see if I know what
sure.
this is? Great.
Can I investigate or perception?
Yeah, you can investigate.
Okay.
Got an 18 for history.
Okay.
I got a 9 for perception.
Is investigation
Or
any better?
investigation,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, okay. So, Marilla, you have seen these, and they're pretty common. This is an automaton, sort of a mechanically and magically powered. Well, doesn't seem to be powered right now, but automaton, and they're often seen accompanying artificers who are known to build these sort of companions, but usually they're not alone or just sort of going around by themselves or making signs and standing alone in a weird place. Anstis, you sort of, with your curious nature, sort of are poking around and looking at it, and you notice its back seems to be where a lot of the sort of disruption seems to be coming from, and from its face seems to be coming the audio message. In the back, there's 2 big holes. One of them seems intended to be there, sort of like a rounded hole with sort of like a slot, but there's nothing in it. The other hole seems like it's broken, like a smashed hole, and inside it's just like, you see like these sort of mana cables, which are often used to help to build automatons and power them, and some gears, and just some kind of light smoke drifting out of this smashed hole.
Hmm. This looks like something that Tink would be good with.
I know, yes. I was just thinking the same.
Yeah. So.
Helm's like, oh, you don't want my help? Well, I guess I couldn't even get these things in there. And he just sort of looks down at it, and he's just kind of like,
You don't normally see these things by themselves, though.
What do you need? Require help. Require help. Require help.
Is
I
there
don't think I
anything
see anything else right now.
around it?
It's just standing in a wide open spot.
There's no footprints?
No footprints, no.
Okay.
Can I take a look in the back, like where all the doodads and doohickeys are?
Sure, yeah. What do you want to look at?
my technical knowledge right there. Just to see, like, is there a particular problem, or is it just a problem all over?
Make an investigation check.
Oh boy, okay. I'm so good at that with my +1. Oh, that's not so bad. 17.
There's a particular problem. I mean, it looks like this thing has been stabbed with some kind of a spear or a sword just straight into its back. As for the hole that seems to be crafted into its body, you don't really know what that is.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Kinsel and Tink.
Yeah, as he gives me this thing to wipe myself off. Thank you. Did you get any of it?
I didn't have anything to put it in. Did you see anything?
It completely dissolved into the water. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Do you think that's where it came from?
It's hard to say. honestly. I wonder if it has any ties to the black liquid you saw in the water weird a little while ago. But there he is. Assuming I see the orc, we will head towards him.
Oh, hello. Yeah, he's right there.
So sorry. That was odd. I don't know how else to say it. Does this happen a lot?
Hey, you might have noticed the pretty quick reaction from all the tenants. This has been a pretty wild place to live for the past little while, I might say. But you know, that's part of living on the water these days. That's the biggest one I ever seen, though.
How frequently does it happen?
Well, it doesn't seem to be much of a pattern. At first, they just came every day. Now, well, seems they come whenever they want to. But if they're all gonna be that big moving forward, I gotta pick a new line of work.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be wise if these things are kind of emerging from the waters that you all move to another place. I was told previously that Eagle's Omen has not had issue with these beings. Would it not be wise to move there?
It would be wise to move there, but wisdom was never my strong suit. I will say this. It is true, I haven't heard of any attacks from there. But if I'm not here to run this outpost, then the travelers will have no place to stay, even despite all these incidents.
See, I rely on you. What? We never got your name yesterday. I'm Kinsu.
Kinsel, nice to meet you. Sticks out his hand. Says, call me Noah.
I thank you for all you do to help these people, and I hope you do remain safe.
He sort of unhinges like a big crossbow that he has to his side, and he says, well, we fended off a couple of them, so I'll keep at it, and I'll keep keeping them safe.
Do you have any advice if we run across one in the future?
Well, if you got as many people around as we do, and it's just one of them, just shoot at it as much as you can. I've seen bows, I've seen magic bounce right off them, but shoot at it enough, one will break through.
Kinzo kind of looks to Tink. Anything else that we need to ask him?
I'm not sure. I'm still a bit... Well, frankly, I'm a bit terrified.
He sort of leans in and says, if you boys will excuse me, I got some stuff to oversee. Feel free to look me up if you need me again. And he sort of walks down to the shoreline and sort of picking up scrap wood from the fractured stagecoach.
Okay. Just as I assume we will regroup our party, I'll say to Tink, let's make it a priority to get something to collect these things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I was empty-handed. Felt like an idiot.
We'll get it next time.
We sure will.
Okay, back to the other three. Are we just waiting until they rejoin us, or?
I think maybe we should get Tink to look at this.
Hey, what's that?
Yeah.
Right? There you go.
Smooth transition.
There you go.
Speak of him, and he shall appear.
Tink appears out of nowhere and frightens everyone.
Did you... Wait, what's that thing?
It's an automaton. They're usually found with artificers, but I don't see one around. But it seems to be in need of repair, and I show him the back.
It's got a hole in the back.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Yeah.
yep, uh-huh, yep, 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 uh-huh. Okay, can I do some kind of check to try and repair it?
Yep. Do you have a special thing, right? Or something?
Nah, just proficiency in tinkering. Maybe you can double it because of my name. What's that? Can you fix it?
Mending. I can technically restore the pieces. I can't restore the magic to it. So if anything is wrong with it magically, then
The magic's dead inside. Well, either way, Tink's gonna act super confident, even though deep down inside he knows he's probably not gonna fix it.
Yeah, very similar to how Kinsel has usually advantage when making checks related to animals, which he is, or creatures and animals, which he's familiar with. Tink will have advantage on repair or tinkering related checks as well. So
Sweet. So
have a
kind of
look.
kind of a weird question in combination that if I use my divination ability, I have to tell you that I want it to replace the die in advance, but if I'm rolling an advantage, does it replace both? Like, would there be any reason to?
I mean, I would say like it will just replace the roll that gets accepted out of the advantage.
Okay,
So
I'm just
I don't
gonna
think it would be
roll straight up at
yeah.
advantage. What is that? 21.
Are you trying to just repair it straight out, or are you just trying to like have a look?
It was more of like a diagnostics, and then try and get in there and see if I can figure out kind of the basic mechanics to fix it.
Okay, so Tink takes out like a little stool, and she does a lot more of what you were doing. The like,
Yep. Okay.
and
Oh, yep. I knew it.
You've got a pretty full understanding of what's wrong, and you're well equipped to fix it. You have tinkering tools, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Ryan said, there's some magical wiring that's seems to be severed. There's gears that seem to be locked up, and plenty of problems going on. But you have a good idea of what's wrong.
Okay. What's wrong?
So make another. I mean, it's just been stabbed. It's just all effed up in the middle. So you make another tinkering check if you want to actually try to fix it.
Is this an advantage as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not good.
What number did you roll?
I rolled a 9, so I think
Can't help you.
yeah. It brings me to 12.
Well, lucky for you, this is a pretty rudimentary thing in terms of machine repair, which is not rudimentary at all, but it has been stabbed or cut or something. So it's just a matter of, splicing wires and resetting gears. But in a mere matter of moments, Tink has fused wires back together, has sort of like tweezers and weird little tools poking and prodding into it. And the gears are sort of resetting. You hear a lot of like clicking, and he has like a little eyeglass thing over his eye that makes one eyeball like really big. And
Sweet.
He even patches the hole up, and as he fastens that on, you hear require help, help. And it sort of perks up, and the light in front of its face bursts forth, and it's this sort of crisp blue light. And said, "Oh dear, I was beginning to worry no one would come by and repair me. Thank you, Master Gnome." And it sort of leans over with its weird body.
Of course. What's your name?
"I am Browser. I need help from you all. If you're as good at fixing things as you appear, perhaps you can help me as well."
What do you need help with?
"I've come from Kunger's Canyon. My master, the great artificer Osco, built me. He was killed by one of those creatures. I saw the horror this morning but could do nothing about it. We were researching the Oath, tracking down one of its most vital lieutenants. We received much good intel in our reconnaissance. Unfortunately, when my master was killed, I became confused, tried to hide in the canyon, and I was attacked by cave dwellers. He continues on. I hid behind a rock. They came at me, knocking my systems out and tearing from me my memory core. And he sort of turns his back and shows this next to the space that Tink has repaired, this sort of empty slot. And he says, I remember who I am. I remember who my master, the great arcanist, Osco, is. But all of the intel we accrued about the Oath has been captured. The cave dwellers know not what they have. Yes, the memory core is valuable on its own, but with the intel we have on the Oath, it's worth more than they know, and could seriously damage the Oath's operation. With my master dead, I am not a sentimental creation, but I have no purpose. I wish to find my memory core, and then take the long rest. Can you help me?
Do we know if Congress Canyon is out of our way of the Southern Sending Spire, or if we could go either way and we would get there?
Yep, you can go either way. If you look at your map, you can either go east or west at the lake, and there's a big wall at the north, at the very north of Listener's Lake. There's a giant wall that goes from Listener's Lake up to Yoro, I believe, which is where the spire is.
Got a decision.
It's like literally the opposite way.
We want to talk to the crazy guy that can stop the monsters, or do we want to find the memory core to stop the Oath?
I mean, technically speaking, you could get probably a little bit faster to the spire going east, but it's pretty comparable.
I was
Even
never
if-
one. Go ahead.
Even if we go east to the canyon, we would still have to stop in the canyon, so there's no saying if it would be faster or not to go either way.
I am not one for making decisions, but this Oath band does not seem as big a threat to me as these creatures that we do not understand. If this man in Eagle's Omen has any information how to stop them, that has importance in my mind. It would help either way. That is just how I feel.
May I impress upon you? My memories are thin, but the information we have could be integral to bringing down the entire Oath operation. My persuasive protocols had been engaged, in case you hadn't noticed.
At least it's honest.
Well, what do you think, Morella?
I really couldn't say. Both are equally important, and I wish we had an opportunity to pursue both options. The thing is, we haven't really seen precisely how widespread the Oath is. We've only encountered a small faction of them. And if it's a much wider group of people, then it wouldn't hurt to bring them down if we could. Equally, I think, after seeing what we just saw, gaining any information on these creatures is paramount. But there's no guarantee that this man knows anything. It could be entirely coincidence that Eagle's Omen hasn't been attacked. We don't know. We would have to go to find out.
Pure conjecture, I hear. Some even say he's crazy.
Yeah. And that kid went there to try to figure it out. We could just let him handle it and or die on
Do
his
the work.
own. Yeah.
Has anyone that's ever been to Eagle's Omen and stayed there ever left and gone anywhere else?
I don't know.
None of us have been there.
I don't know.
Do we know of anyone that's been like, I've been there and I came back?
You've never met anybody. It's
We could ask around, maybe.
Noah's is a pretty hand on the pulse kind of guy, and he even is not quite sure about the rumors, but he knows that there haven't been any attacks that he's heard of, and he's been stationed right down here for pretty much the entire.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, how people know there are no attacks if everyone that's gone there's never left.
People have left, but without the spires active, it's hard to have like concrete information by just like gulls and ravens. So it's like people have come through this camp and said, like, it's good. There's no attacks.
Yeah.
That's about, and that information isn't very concrete, but
Yeah.
it seems to be a very well-known thing that Eagle's Omen has not been attacked.
Well, my vote's for Kunger's Canyon, but I could go either way as long as our friend Browser comes.
Anstis, what do you think?
I don't know. It's really is hard to say. I could go either way. We've got that kid is going to this the Eagle place. And as far as the canyon, how much do we know about the cave dwellers? Can you tell us a little more about them?
We know they're there.
Can he?
Yeah.
When I was hiding behind the rock, they came from behind, smashed my head, stabbed me in the back, ripping out my memory core. Only as I went into power-saving mode did I see them scurrying off to their cave. Hard to make them out. I needed the rest of my power to hike back here and make this beautiful sign that says, require help.
How many were there?
Very nice.
Hard to know. My vision was not functioning properly as it is now. There are 4 of you. 5 of you.
Yeah, he's
Well.
not wrong.
Maybe let's play Mana Marble? Marble Mana? What's that game?
Mana Marble
Oh.
or Kaze?
Akaze.
Akaze.
Let's flip a coin.
We could flip a coin. I think we should make all important decisions this way. We should always flip a coin.
Let the fates decide. I like it.
Oh,
Come procures a large golden coin, not a currency type of coin, but he says, back home, many a dispute was settled this way. And he holds it out in his feathered hand towards you all.
We can choose to veto the coin if we don't like it.
Well, I would say Anstis is the most just of the group. Why don't you do the honors?
I'm incredibly flattered that you would say that. So I will do so. Though there are many who would disagree.
Well, I've known you for 24 hours, so.
Go ahead and roll a d10.
Okay.
On a 1 through 5, you'll head west, and on a 6 and up.
Okay. Uh, 9.
To the canyon!
To the canyon.
To
You
the
can-
canyon.
Thank the critical roll dice.
Hey.
You see Browser standing there with his arm outstretched towards the coin flip, and he says, "I use my magical powers to influence the roll." Tink,
That's cheating.
Yes, I'm very
you
sure
can-
you did.
you can sense that he has no magical ability or power other than what powers him.
I'm just gonna say, you sure did, bud. You sure did. Just pat him on the back.
He says, "I'm rather slow with walking. Perhaps you, big bird there, can carry me." And he sort of collapses down, like in with his knees, so he's like a little kind of just bundle of parts. And
Attack of
Kelm's
the
like,
Clones. Or no, what?
"You want me to carry you? You're kidding, right?" And he sort of just sits there with not saying anything. So Kelm scoops him up onto his back. Now he has a cast iron walk on his back and some kind of a robot.
Robot backpack.
Yeah. And you guys set off east towards Kunger's Canyon. And who knows? Koga will probably deal with things out west, right?
Oh yeah, he'll
Or
be
he'll
fine.
die.
He seems like such a trustworthy kid. He's got this.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yes.
just like out of Featherfawn Wood, there's not really roads, but simply just looking at your map, you know that if you just walk up Lakeside, it'll get you there. And you kind of have this fringe Featherfawn Wood bit going the whole time. It's about a 2-day hike, and from time to time we're going to do this. For the first day, just DM Scout's Honor. It's a completely uninterrupted trip. You're just very matter-of-factly walking along for an entire day. And I just ask you guys, what do you do with that day? Do you talk to each other? Do you write in a journal? Do you work on some skill? Anything? So you have a full day of walking with nothing but
Yay.
the 5 people just walking. There's forest to your right, lake to your left, and a robot on someone's back.
Anstis is gonna use the coin and is gonna do like a bunch of little tricks with it and like pull it out from behind Tink's ear and like flip it between her fingers.
Is that the same coin from the one you flipped?
Yeah.
Clever, Anstis, but you can't fool Tink.
Oh, can I? And
I'm like watching the coin like dart around. She's
She-
like she's
she-
doing the finger thing. Like,
she throws it behind you, but then it's back in her hand.
yeah,
Tricky.
well, yeah.
Never quite did master that kind of sleight of hand. My father was excellent at it.
That's stuff you learn on the streets.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking, and then Browser's like, "Yes?" And he's like, "Not you."
Not you.
I was thinking, I told you guys about how come I came on the boat. Try to be a part of something, even though I'm just a cook. How come you guys came on this trip?
Awkward silence.
I think at this point, assuming you'll let me do this, and I don't think I'm the best sketcher, so I don't think it matters too much if I'm like walking and sketching.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
have
fine.
I have pulled a small book from a leather bag on my side, and I've been drawing as we're going. And I think today I've been drawing my best attempt at rendition of the creature that emerged from that lake.
Okay.
As he asks this question, just kind of keeping my focus on the book, I came here to catalog as many animals as I can. A father gave me this task. Will help when I can as well.
Do those black stringy creatures count as animals?
It's a creature of some sort. We need to determine whether it's natural or not. It's an animal to me for now.
I see. We'll be lucky to have you then. How about you,
This is-
little one?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me or
Which
Anstis?
one? There's
Who
two
are-
little ones.
Who are you talking to?
How about you, littler one?
Which one of us is littler?
Tink is
It's me.
much shorter
Tink is a
than
gnome, so he's
Anstis, right?
little.
It's me.
Yeah,
Unless
Tink is the littlest one.
Well,
Oh, how tall are you?
like 3.5 feet.
You're taller than Anstis.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Wild.
Anstis is just a little bit shorter than average.
Oh, okay.
There
Okay,
you go.
retcon. Kel was talking to Anstis.
Yes.
Oh, no.
The littler one, and he like prods
Oh
at
no.
Anstis.
She's very buff though.
Mm.
No, she's not. Well, we have this thing in my family where a lot of halflings like to travel. They don't like to stay in one place very long. But for us, it's more like if we do stay in one place too long, then we just get antsy and we have dreams about far off places and traveling and Farlong just tries to guide us along a path. So I decided that I should go as far as possible, and that's this place.
It sure is, Anstis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a lot of traveling to do if that map from the old lady's any indicator. You'll have your fill. How about you, not so little or one?
Yeah. I'm just trying to like go back to Anstis and like measure it out. Well, yeah, I guess I'm not the smallest. Right.
You can't just tell that by looking. It's pretty obvious.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's really well, I'm here to prove my dad wrong. You see, my dad he's quite something special on Enthus. He's a grand wizard. Part of an elite group of wizards. I tried to be part of the group. They found I wasn't worthy. I'm here to prove him wrong.
I'm sure you will, Tink.
Thanks, Morella. I'm already doing it. Right, Browser? Come on, bud.
Your mechanical proficiency was astounding. I recommend you visit Greycore someday.
Great.
Meet with the best of them.
Greycore, eh? Where's Greycore?
Not in our direct line of travel, but once you help me out, and as I heard you are trying to fix the sending spire, you may find yourself en route.
Well, great.
Machines big as you can imagine, skyships, steam gears, and mechanical limbs everywhere. Folks there always trying to improve upon themselves.
It sounds like my kind of place. Research, experimenting, tinkering.
You're reminded of someone that you met who had improved upon themselves in Edeline, who had strange mechanical kind of goggles built into her head, who was from Greycore.
Wow, okay, cool. We called her grandmother, right? That was grandmother?
I called her grandmother. Yeah.
And Marilla, how about you?
To help. It sounds.
Can I do an insight check?
Yeah.
Can we all do an
Yeah.
insight check?
Can we all do an insight check?
Terrible. Terrible.
Anstis is so curious now.
Oh no.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I got a 15.
They only got a 12.
22.
Oh God.
You can't lie to Anstis.
You can't. She's a cleric.
Generally, you kind of just feel everyone kind of looking at you, kind of like, hey, we said our stuff,
Oh,
and
oh boy. Okay.
We said most of the truth. Come
I
on.
feel
you feel an especially piercing gaze from Anstis, who kind of gives you this kind of like, come on.
Okay. Morella notices everyone looking at her like this, and she just sort of takes in like a deep breath, and she just says, "It's an ugly story that I'm not sure how to tell. I mean, I suppose it's simple, really. I feel like I make it more complicated than it is.
Like sensing the difficulty, Tink's gonna say, well, share what you want, but you don't mean to pry too much.
Yeah, there's always time,
Oh, I know, I just...
unless we die. Then there's not much at all.
yeah,
Oh, thank you, Kelm. Very, very good to know.
that's fair.
That's true. That is true.
Hmm.
Yes. Long story short. My father's wife tried to have me killed. In my sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night with a man over my bed holding a dagger and another one blocking the door. And I was able somehow to assail them. I'm really glad that I sleep with my short swords under my bed. It's not my favored weapon, but anything in a pinch, right? There was a Kenku, I asked. And you know Kenku, they can speak in many different voices. They don't really have their own voice, so they sort of use the voices of other people to say. I heard it directly in my stepmother's voice. So I know it was her. And I tried to get away as fast as I could. I left immediately and figured maybe if I got far enough away, she wouldn't try again.
Well, I'm happy the attempt failed.
Yeah. And if she ever tries again, she has to get through us.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty hard to hit.
That's very true, you are. Yes, sorry, I just...
Well,
wasn't fun.
on to bigger and better things.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Onto the horizon.
So you have a full day of walking. It's long, but you got a chance to take a break. No races, no temples, no devoured singing troops, and just to hang out with each other. And perfectly, as the sun begins to set, you see a large structure on the horizon. And as you approach it, you see that it's this sort of building that's built into the lake. There's a big dock that kind of overlaps over onto the water, and it's sort of this tall two-story kind of cabin sort of thing. And you see a sign that says Listener's Lodge, and you see some warm flames coming from inside, and seemingly it looks like the first sort of working, running establishment you've seen yet, knowing that most everything in Hokata Bay was pretty much rubble or half fractured, like the tavern you guys originally stayed in was missing half a roof, or sleeping in the forest, or a murder cabin. Not the most cozy of places, but this does seem to be a functioning place as you approach it.
Right on the water.
Yep, it's built like over the water, so you can actually see like the main part of it is like sitting on the land, but there's like a big dock that goes off over the lake. So,
Okay.
and you actually see a couple people standing on the dock. What do you do?
This seems odd, considering what we saw this morning. Was it not?
Word might not have reached them yet.
It's possible.
Yeah, you guys were kind of the first out heading east, and the only ones that you saw to go kind of northeast. Some people were going south to Hokata Bay. A lot of people were just sort of hanging around, picking up stuff. So, to your knowledge, no one had scuffled off east yet.
What time of the day is it?
It's pretty late.
Is
you guys
it?
pretty much traveled for the whole entire day. It's kind of like dusky.
Assuming we're moving towards it, I'd just like to keep an eye on the structure and see if there's any wear and tear or any apparent damage to it.
Yeah, roll a perception.
Looks in
check.
working order, you said, but yeah, sure. I am just having the shittiest night. 9.
9 total. Or 9 roll.
9 total with the +5. I rolled a 4. No, I rolled a 4 and I get a +5, so 9.
Even still, you guys are approaching it closely, and you see some there's a big railing around the sort of dock part that goes over the lake, and you see some banisters that are, clearly replacements, and you see some sort of singed, burning black parts on sort of the stilts that keep the dock part up, similar to what you saw in Hokata Bay. It looks like it has been repaired, but it's not in ruin like a lot of Hokata Bay was. It's it was repaired at some point and seems to be getting by.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I won't be one to deny a warm bed. Shall we inquire if they have space for us?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you approach a little bit closer, you see a very lovely sign sort of on this offshoot part of the building. It says Listener's Lodge, Tavern and Inn underneath, and the door is sort of facing you all. And you enter into a warm a tavern area. It's not packed or anything, but there are definitely a couple of different people inside, of various races. Sort of, some are sitting at sort of booths, some are sitting at tables around, and there's sort of a barkeep there who's sort of taking an order of food from a little window. You notice the offshoot where the sign was attached seems to be some sort of kitchen window, and he's sort of taking a bit of food out, and he's actually just eating himself. It's not even serving it to anybody. Most of the guests it is pretty late, so most of the guests look like they've eaten and they're just kind of milling about. A lot of them have empty plates. One notable thing that you see right next to you when you enter is a big bowl with some sort of meaty, scrappy bones, and this strange lizard sort of licking them and feasting upon them. It doesn't it just looks like a normal sort of like gecko, except it's like 4 foot long, head to tail, and like a rich orange scales on its back, and it's just like lapping up these bones.
You ever seen anything like that before, Kinzel?
Does anything stand out other than it being a giant lizard?
No, it looks like a really common.
I'm not sure.
It looks like a really common lizard, actually. It just looks really big for some random reason.
Okay.
In response to Tink's question, a man who's standing at the bar.
Sorry, are we inside the building now?
Yeah, you're just like right in
okay.
the entryway, and
Okay.
the lizard is like eating a bowl of scraps like right inside the door. In response to what you said, a man at the bar, he's like a strikingly handsome man. He's got like this rich brown skin, and he's like draped in like jade and beige sort of robes and wrappings, and he has like a bandana on with like all these crazy brown tight curls that sort of spring out from the back and like a scruffy black kind of stubble. And he sort of walks over to you. He sort of settled out his bill from over the bar, and he says, I don't believe anyone has ever seen anything like this. And he sort of scoops up the lizard and sort of wrestles with it a little bit and says, would you believe I found him when he was just a little one this big? And he sort of holds his hand out.
How old is he now?
That's where you'll really be surprised. Only 3 months.
What? Oh, that was not Marilla. No, that was Emmy. Emmy's surprise came out.
It could be, it's an appropriate reaction. It's a strange thing.
Oh.
Well, how big do you expect he'll get?
Oh, that's where the fun begins, my friend. We will have to wait and see, but for now, well, we must be off. We've had our fill, and we always travel at night, don't we, buddy? And he sort of rustles him up, and he sort of slithers out of the man's arms and sort of runs up to you all like a dog craving attention, sort of like looking up at everybody. And he says, we travel at night because of my friend's tendencies. His name is Snoozer. He likes to sleep during the day for some reason. And now he's just waking up.
Tink's gonna get down on like one knee and like see if like he'll come up to him and give him a little scratch into the chin.
Yeah, he loves it. He just loves any kind of attention. He's just like, and he's very slithery, and he likes to have his chin scratched. So he kind of like puts himself in a position to get the best scratches the way that he wants to.
What's the name again?
His name's Snoozer.
Snoozer. And what's your
Where are
name?
you headed then?
To answer your question, Gnome, it's funny how people always ask my name second when he's been around. You can call me Savine.
You said he's like kind of finely dressed.
Yeah, he's real finely dressed. He has like lots of layers on, like sort of textured beige fabrics with big jade like swaths coming over, and his head wrapping. It's kind of like, it's only like up to here, so you can see all this giant black curly hair sprouting out from the back.
So would I think like rich merchant or like noble lord?
Make a perception check.
Oh boy. Ah! I dropped it. Sorry. Where is my perception? Oh, there it is. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17.
Yeah, with the 17, you actually parse out something completely different. Neither a noble lord nor a what was the other thing you said?
A rich merchant.
Yeah, really neither of the two. He's just very exotic. It just looks kind of like the garb of somewhere that you've not seen before. Not particularly wealthy per se, but just very, very exotic and worldly look to him.
Okay. Looks foreign.
He sort of scoops up Snoozer and sort of gently sort of like taps his butt with his boot. And he sort of looks to you all and says, "It was a pleasure. I hope to see you again."
Nice to meet you, sir.
And he sort of very gingerly sort of just steps out of the bar, moving at a slow and comfortable pace. And Snoozer sort of slinking out the way. Your next sort of addressed by the man in the bar who just sort of settled up with Savine, and this is another Caprin who's sort of doing the classic rag in the glass sort of thing, and he says, "Well, what do you be having? Looking for a room, a drink, a meal? We got it all for you."
Anyone fancy a drink before bed?
Sure.
Wonderful.
Can always go for a drink.
Sounds fun.
A pair of
rooms available?
we have rooms upstairs, of course. A pair of two gnomes sitting at a nearby table. When you guys agree to a drink, you see their table is just littered with glasses empty and knocked over, and they're just like, "Yeah, yeah!" They're sort of cheering you on. There's a couple of other notable people in the bar, just sort of sprinkled throughout. There's two half-orc women you can see kind of through the doors that go out onto the dock. One of them seems to be crying or something, and the other woman is sort of consoling her. You can't really make out what it is. In the corner of the bar, there's a very handsome human male with blonde hair who's sort of just sitting drinking a small glass of whiskey. There's the two drunk gnomes that are kind of nearby you. There's an orc kind of sitting on the opposite side of the door from where Snoozer was eating. And he's just kind of sitting there with a big flagon and just sort of sipping it, kind of looking around. He doesn't look particularly kind. Someone who does look kind across the way is sort of a gray-haired elf with spectacles, and he's sort of sitting carving a little something out of wood. And that's pretty much everyone who's in there.
Can I
Not
talk
too
to the
packed, but-
barkeep for a second?
Yeah, sure.
How's business?
Well, pretty sparse. As you can see, we got a couple customers, a couple regulars, but we've been lucky enough not to receive too many attacks here. And until we do, I'll probably keep her open. People got to get down here somehow.
Well, yeah, your establishment looks quite nice considering all the mayhem around here. Do you have any defenses set up? How do you defend when the attacks arise?
He reaches under the bar and says, "Try not to be startled, all right?" And he takes just a big sort of blunderbuss gun out from under. Says,
Jesus.
"It seems to put some holes in. It seems to put some holes into him."
Huh! Wow! Impressive.
And he sort of like puts his arms on the bar and leans down towards you guys, and he says, "And with folks like you coming through, looks like you're pretty capable. Seems there's always someone eating or drinking here that's ready to fight them."
It's fair.
Yeah, that is why we're here.
Yeah,
So what do
totally.
you be having? What do you be having?
Wine.
Kelm says, "I'll have what he's having," gesturing over to the human drinking the whiskey. "But like 10 times as much as he's having." The Captain looks to Kinsel, Anstis, Tink. "And for you guys?"
I will just have a water, please.
"Okay."
Some kind of ale, preferably cheaper.
"We got one kind, and it's cheap."
Cool. Good with it.
So, the bartender goes through down the line, a little bit of wine, a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of ale, a little bit of water, here and there. You hear as he's doing this, the crying half-orc ladies sort of passing behind you and exiting the bar. Crying has not stopped for whatever reason. Your drinks are served. The bartender says, well, I always like to say cheers, but everyone's got their own. And he's poured himself a little bit along with the food that he served himself, and he's just kind of sitting there eating. Anyone know any good ones? Kelm says. Well, who needs words anyways? Bottoms up.
I was trying to think of
I was
something that
thinking,
I
I don't know.
That sucks.
So are you guys just gonna hang at the bar, or grab a seat, or just kind of down them?
Did the crying woman leave?
Before we, yeah, that's what I was curious about. Just ask the bartender because she walked out past us. This seems like a safe enough place. If people are here, why are they leaving
Well,
so late at night?
I don't like to, generalize, but usually when a lady's crying, I try to stay out of the way, if you know what I mean.
Umbrella raises an eyebrow.
Oh, it's not a bad idea.
As you kind of polish off your wine and your beer and your water and whiskey and what did Tink have?
Tink didn't have anything. He was going to ask for some pipe tobacco, but didn't get the chance to.
Oh, you can still ask for it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You
know,
see two
not
half-orc
fancying a
women-
drink. Go
You
ahead.
hear two half-orc women going backwards.
I don't. Not much for a drink right now, but do you have any pipe tobacco?
He sort of gets a stern look, and he sort of, not for sale, but I got my personal stash if you fancy. And he takes out a pouch out of his vest, and he just sort of sprinkles a little bit on like a little bit of cloth. Says, yours if you want it.
And something to smoke it with?
He's like, what? He's like, well, he takes his pipe out. He's like, I have my pipe. And he just sort of looks at you like, please don't ask me for this.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll just take the tobacco. Thank you.
Sure, enjoy. The crying orcs walk out again. So as you are finishing off your pipe and your water and your whiskey and your wine and all this, you see the human man has finished his whiskey, and the drunken gnomes have sort of quieted down, and they both made their way out of the door as well. And the bartender's sort of just sitting there eating some sort of horrifying slop. You hear some tinking and bashing back in the kitchen, washing dishes or something like that. And you hear the gray-haired elf from the back who'd been carving something out of some wood. You see he's no longer carving, and he has like the knife in the table, and he started twisting it with like this. And he says in a voice far too young for an elf that looks this old, he says, you know what I love about these isolated bars out in the middle of nowhere? So easy to pay people off to leave. And as he says that, the orc that is sitting next to the door sort of walks in front of it and sort of plants itself in front of the door. And the elf, the bespectacled gray-haired elf, takes his hand and removes a gray wig and takes his glasses off and sort of sticks his finger in its eye, removing some contacts.
What?
Revealing a strange sight a completely bald elf with glowing purple eyes. Now, to Kelm and Anstis and Kinsel and Tink, yes, it is strange that this is whatever's happening. Why is this guy taking off his disguise? I didn't recognize him before, and I don't now. But for Morella, she
No.
recognizes this strange, peculiar-looking bald elf.
Oh no.
He is one of two brothers who is the head of Lady Riska's hunting party. His name is Duthron, and you know him well.
What are you doing here?
He's just sort of sitting back and like twisting his knife into the wood.
I left so that this wouldn't be a problem. What are you doing here?
He says, come now, come now. You, the small ones, the Ganassi and the bird, you're free to go. I've only come for her.
Anstis is going to move in front of Mira and have her shield up.
What did you say his name was? I'm sorry. I got
His name is
dramatic.
his name is Duthron, and
Duthron?
his brother's name is Chiron, and you know them. They're sort of the two brothers in charge of Lady Riska's hunting retinue.
Sorry, is Lady Riska the woman that tried to kill
She's
your
my father's
wife? So
and
your
she tried to kill
stepmother.
me. She would not say that, and neither would I. She's my father's wife.
Got it.
My mother. It's, you know what? You'll find out. It's a hella awkward situation, to be
Okay.
honest. At
Okay.
least for Riska and my mother.
Okay, cool.
The next thing you hear is a bunch of clanging, and
My
the
hands
cap-
are shaking and I can't write my notes. They don't look right.
Oh,
the Capron bartender has gone head first into this like kitchen window, blunderbuss in hand. He gets in there and it just goes pulling down a steel door over the kitchen window.
oh God.
This is
Homie's
how they protect
prepared.
themselves.
He continues on and says, very well, halfling. I don't want you to be a part of this. I'd love to make it very, very simple on myself and my associate over there by the door, and my associates outside, and my very large associate upstairs. And from the higher parts, you hear just and dust from the ceiling goes coming closer to the staircase that seems to lead upstairs. He says, last chance, Feathers and Ganassi and Small Gnome. My orc friend will let you leave. You don't know this girl. You've only just met her. I promise I won't hurt her. Well, maybe a little bit.
I think it's better if
I don't say
you
anything.
and your friends leave. And I'm going to cast Charm Person.
On him?
Mhm.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, he's an elf, man.
Oh, shit, you're right.
He's an elf, man.
Is that a whiz save?
It
It
a
is.
wisdom save.
Oh, I love the idea though.
Eh.
My hands are shaking, like my notes went from legible to just like Duthron and Chiron. It just they turned into a mess.
Yeah.
Oh
Ryan.
no.
Ryan,
Ansys
just
doesn't know
FYI,
if he
you've got
is-
like a 5-second delay. Just so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you do. It's weird.
Oh, I
Who,
do?
me?
No, Ryan
no,
does.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
the audio sync is
I
out
did-
of sync.
I don't know
Like
how.
your
I
mouth
fix
moves
that?
and then you talk. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we're going on break. In a
We're
second,
about to
so,
go on break.
So
Okay.
let's just,
Oh.
and then
After
I
you
think
said it.
one idea that I came up with for some of the audio issues is maybe just stopping the call and starting it fresh again. Pete, that'll be a little bit of extra work for
Okay.
you, but
It's all G.
sorry. Okay, so wisdom saving throw.
Yep. Anstis doesn't know that they're immune to charm or whatever.
They're not immune. They just have
He
advantage.
just has
They have
Advantage,
advantage. Yeah. She doesn't. She wouldn't know that.
No.
Wait, can you RP the charm?
I mean, like how
Like-
it,
Yeah.
Can
How
I
she does
read
it?
it?
No, like role play it.
Oh, I just said. I
Oh,
think
so
you
you
should leave.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you and your friend should leave. That's all she said.
Yeah.
He is sitting there still like twisting his knife, and it's kind of getting a little deeper into the table. And he sort of opens his hand and lets the knife fall and just sort of does one of these. And he goes,
Hmm.
and now it's initiative time.
Damn.
Oh
I figured it wouldn't work.
no! No one else got the chance to say anything. Only Anstis was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck."
Yeah,
you
I'm
up."
gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try hanging up the call. Pete, if that's fine with you and the operation.
Yeah, that's fine. So viewers, just hang tight. We'll be back in a second. Oh, I didn't roll.
Yeah, let's have everybody's rolls here.
I think I'm gonna use one of my divination rolls, which is a 14. So I guess what's the point of even rolling if you just can use that? There's not one, right?
What do you mean?
Has anyone played a wizard before?
No.
No.
I mean, I played a wizard, but not a divination wizard.
So
You basically roll at the beginning of the day, and you can replace. Well, you can choose
Right.
to use those rolls over whatever you're.
when you finish a long rest, roll 2d20s, record the numbers rolled. You can replace any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. Oh, I can't even use it for initiative, I guess.
Initiative is an ability check.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it is.
By you or
I
a
mean,
creature that you
technically
can
it's just
see
like a dex check.
with one of those foretelling rolls, you must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. So yeah, basically I just say my initiative 14.
Okay.
Kinzel got a 19.
Got a 21.
Woo!
I know,
Yeah.
I'm really glad. I rolled an 18 on the dice.
Anstis, did you already
A
say? I'm assuming.
12.
Still not bad.
Okay. Calm has an 8. Let me get.
He has an 8.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Okay, Morella, you are foist.
You're kidding. Okay, great. And the blue in the corner up here is, I am assuming, Duthron.
Yeah, that's Duthron, and then the orc is standing in front of the door here.
Okay, have they said anything else?
Not yet. We're in like bullet time mode now, so he probably won't be speaking until his turn comes around.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do the only thing I can think of to do. I'm gonna hunter's mark him, and then I'm gonna pull my bow, and I'm gonna fire at him.
Okay.
Oh boy. All right. Whoa, which dice? Which dice? Don't betray me. 23 to hit.
Okay, yeah, that's a hit.
Hooray!
Roll for damage.
That's 1d8 plus 3 plus a d6. Uh, 8, 9, 10. 10. Wait, that's an easy math. 15 points of damage.
Okay. As he's struck with an arrow, you see a flash come from kind of beneath the table where he still sat, and he seems shockingly able to take a retaliation shot, spurred on by the shot you've taken at him. and lightning fast, his bow is drawn, and a shot is fired back your way.
Great.
So he's using a thing that he has where he can take a reaction shot at disadvantage, and one of them was a natural 20, but the other one,
Oh no!
but the disadvantage one was a humble 9.
Okay, you missed me. Oh my god, that's terrible. Okay.
Anything else with your turn?
That's the most I can do, I think.
Okay.
Though I need to write down that I used my spell. Oops.
Kinsel's next, if you're all set.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go straight into direwolf form using my
The party just is shocked, like anime style, like, he can do this?
Yeah, so I leap into direwolf form. I'm going to immediately go for the orc, I think, at the back here.
Okay.
Come up and get in his business, and I will attempt an attack roll. So +5 to hit, much better than mine. We have a 14 total.
A 14? Yep, you got him.
Nice. So we have a whopping 2d6. Woo! 13 points of damage. And
Nice.
he has to make a strength saving throw. Or be knocked out.
Okay.
DC 13.
Or be knocked prone?
That's a D12.
Yeah.
Damn!
So you, Kinsel runs maybe in a less than cool way, but then his flesh sort of just sprouts this fur, and he just starts to bound on all fours, charging towards this orc and just slashing him up. He does seem strong enough to resist getting blasted backwards, but he is taking a lot of damage, and he's sort of tussling with the wolf.
Fair enough.
Okay. At the behest of the bald elf's snapping, through the windows burst two crow-like creatures,
Oh. Really?
and they are as I don't know whether everybody would know what Kenku are. I think they're pretty common around here anyways. So they burst in, and they do have their orders.
Great. More Kenku. Great.
So this guy's going to come over to the target, which she has been shown. And he's going to come at you with a little sort of blunt knife. Probably won't feel very nice. Either way, I suppose.
Wonderful. Okay.
He leaps up onto the bar and jabs at you. And I'm thinking that a 4 is going to miss you.
It is gonna miss me, yes.
So he swipes, and you duck, and he just gets nothing but air. This guy rushes to here and sort of ducks behind this table. And he's going to fire an arrow at the target. Nope. Does a 14?
14 is my armor class. Yeah.
So he's gonna do 5 damage.
Alright. I get the feeling that I'm gonna go down fast in this fight, y'all.
Oh.
Tink, it's to you.
Okay. I'm going to move. So all the black things on the walls, I assume, are windows. Window, window,
Yeah, the
window,
black things
window.
are windows, yeah. You gonna run?
Thinking about it.
Tink leaps through a window and just runs.
What about these tables? Do they count as cover?
If you flip it, but that'll cost an action to flip. But yeah, you can flip a table if you want to get cover from it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's like, you could see under the legs, or it's hard to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could probably get behind the bar for cover.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of windows there, though.
That's true.
I'm gonna go here and just cast my cantrip, Ray of Frost, on the one that's attacking Morella.
Okay. Is it a spell attack?
It is.
All right.
Hold on, sorry. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't yet. Uh, 15.
Yep, you hit him.
Okay. It's 1d8. Plus 5 is a total of 8 damage.
Okay. You see this metal sliding door that the bartender got himself behind. You can see here, this is the room that he sort of fled into. And Tink just sort of flares out with this massive burst of sort of pale green frost energy. And it just pastes this guy to the window, to the point of just being frozen and killed.
Excellent.
All right.
Anstis or Tink, do you still have stuff you want to try?
No, I don't have anything else. No.
Okay. I'm going to bonus action Shield of Faith on Mirella.
Okay.
Thank you.
You get a +2 to your AC.
Yay!
Nice.
Yep. And then let me find this one. I am going to cast Sacred Flame onto this guy. Wait, I have to click him. Him.
Okay. Little crow guy sort of lurking behind the table here.
Yes, he has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okie dokie. He's not bad at that. But another 14.
He makes it.
Oh. Well, they're little crows. They're pretty spry.
Kenku. Sorry, I picked something very fast that tried to kill me.
They used to be humans, but now they're Kenku.
Oh god. Okay. That's weird.
Okay.
One Kenku and one human, but yes.
Okay. And I'm just gonna stay next to Mira, I guess. See if I can give her some advantage of cover. I don't know.
With your little halfling form.
I've got a lot of AC.
Would me telling you that you can't stand in front of her without taking a protective action change what you want to do?
Nah, that makes sense though.
Okay. Okay, Dothron.
Oh.
He has a pretty bad arrow flipped into his shoulder. He's gonna cry out, say a couple of things. First thing he says, he reveals this bright, shining blue amulet. It's sort of like a periwinkle almost. And he sort of clutches it and he sort of screams at you in a sort of haggard state. And he says, "See this, Hightower? I die, and the lady will know it. And after he says that, he looks up to the ceiling and he says, "Get down here, you fools!"
Oh.
And with that, he's going to flip this table over and just kind of cower behind it. And that's going to be his turn. The next thing you see, just everybody rolled really low on this end. You see something you wish you didn't.
Oh, what now?
And just let me do this.
Oh, why?
Oh my god.
Coming down the stairs, you see a large, all but just like some scraggly sort of undergarments, a nude figure with a big sack over its head.
What?
What?
It's like a giant, like fleshy, ogre-looking thing with a sack over top its head. And
Like it can't see?
no, it can't see, and it's being kind of pushed down by another Kenku kind of behind it. And the Kenku behind it reaches up for the sack, like with a trembling hand, and sort of pulls it off. And in doing that, you see something very strange. Morella, something you'd only heard in ghost stories. You see the face of an elf with the bald, shaved head, just like Dothron has, and it just looks tortured and beaten, and its muscles are bulging. It's like it had been experimented on. And you've heard that these two weird brothers from Lady Riska's party had this reputation for like torturing and testing with chemicals on peasants, on elf peasants. But you've always known that to just be something that parents would tell kids to keep them in line. But standing before you is in fact some kind of an elfin ogre. Its eyes are just filled, you know when you pop a blood vessel in your eye? Its whole eyes are almost covered with just like red vessels, and it's just foaming at the mouth and looking forward. And with the sack removed from its head, it immediately turns and just smashes the Kenku against the side, instantly just killing it. It just goes straight to Kenku heaven.
Oh, God.
And it looks out forth to the rest of you. And you see it kind of panning the room as best you can tell with its eyes. I don't know why this doesn't want to let me kill this guy. Okay, there. You see it scanning the room, and it begins to make its slow way over.
Oh, no.
It seems to have a singular task.
Great.
Mm.
Great. Guys, this is not going well for me.
Kelm is rather dull, as we all know, but he has put two and two together, and he is gonna charge this thing head on. Try and tie it up. He's got his cauldron out, and he's got his tenderizer, and he's gonna try and blast this thing best he can. Okay, so he's gonna hit it, and he's gonna just sort of smash the thing, and he stands pretty evenly with it in terms of height, and he just sort of gives it a good clang right in the side of the neck and its head, and it sort of just like doesn't even recover its head back. It's just sort of like, and it's just sort of looks back, and Kelm's just kind of like, oh no. And Kelm kind of gives a glance back to Morella, who seems to be the subject of attack, and he hasn't been showing a whole lot of kindness in his life, so he kind of gets a spark in his eye. He's going to action surge and try and grapple this guy. Okay, there's his and the elfin ogre. Okay. So Kelm drops his tenderizer to the floor and sort of just reaches out for the ogre's arms. And for the time being, he has him sort of tied up. And last, Kinsel, a ferocious wolf, sort of accosting this orc, shredding him up. He's looking real bad, and he's gonna have to do something to get rid of you. So he's going to make a couple attacks on you.
Okay.
And he's gonna roll pretty good. Does a 19 and a 17 get you?
Both will hit.
And he's gonna do. Oh, that was good. Okay. He's gonna do 5 damage only.
Wow. Okay.
And that brings us back to the top of the round with Lady Hightower.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna get up on the bar and move like back here. So that I can get some height advantage, I guess. I can
Sure.
still hit him.
Sure. I'll say with getting on top of the bar, you can at least now see him,
Yeah.
but he's gonna have some cover helping his AC out.
Yeah, no, I figured. But he's hunter's marked, so I figure I should get rid of him first. Fuck that necklace. She'll send someone else, but that's not important right now.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Oh boy. 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 21. Is that right? That's right. Yeah, 21.
Yeah, you got him.
Wonderful. What is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. 13 points of damage.
Okay. So you fired an arrow at a very particular angle. Seeing him behind the table, it's like one of those shots where someone has a hostage and it's like, it's got to be shot just in the right way in order to make it work. And you don't really hear anything at land or anything. But from behind the table, you just see an arm go out and then a little pool of blood following it.
Nice.
But promptly following that, you see something a little less exciting,
Great.
which is sort of a giant of blue smoke, and it pierces the ceiling floorboards above and sort of creeps its way out of the building, and you see the smoke sort of leave.
Yeah. More Kenku in my future. Good to know.
Kinsel. Wolfie.
Still with something in my threat. Bestial nature takes over. I'll try to bite again. Ooh, 21 to hit.
Yep, you got him.
All right. We are looking at 7 plus 3, so 10 points of damage.
Okay. You just straight up bite this guy's throat out. He's been pretty weakened from your initial attack, and his vitals are certainly exposed after his last attack on you. And you sort of deftly leap to the side, putting yourself in a perfect position to just dart at him, and you just sort of shred him apart.
I turn immediately and head in that direction to try and flood this guy's space.
Orcagella.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, you hear another crash of a window. And you see another Kenku with a dull knife that's actually better as a club than it is a knife. They're sort of like just destitute beings and who've probably been paid a very little amount to come along with this journey. And he's going to leap up onto the bar. Well, it doesn't really have a good tile for that, but he's going to leap up onto the bar, try and slash hit you with his knife club.
Okay.
And he's got a 10.
That will miss.
And he stands before you, pretty quietly, actually. The other fellow is going to come alongside his ogre buddy here and shoot a bolt, well, a bow, at the target as well.
Okay.
17.
Oh,
Gets you.
Just. Yeah.
And 6 damage.
6 damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. Man. Why am I so bad at simple math? Oh my god. Yep. I'm not looking great.
Mr. Finn.
Oh no, Marilla! And then I'm gonna use my other divination roll, which is an 11 plus 5 is 16 on the attack.
Okay. Yeah, you got him.
It's on this guy. Sorry.
Yeah, you got him.
Okay. Oh no, 7 damage.
Okay. What did you use on him?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ray of Frost again.
Okay, a similar scene plays out as happened to this little fella here. But this guy's able to cling just on, like he's weathering some kind of a blizzard, and he's just kind of clinging onto the bar, even though the man who is likely to pay him is dead. Just too dull to know to retreat, and is just clinging to the bar and his mission.
No.
Anstis, you're up.
Okay. I am just gonna throw a dagger at this one.
Okay.
$15.
Yep, you hit him.
Okay. That is 8 damage.
In a very sort of not a very nice looking way, the Kenku goes to sort of squawk at you as you draw your dagger, and you very artfully just send it straight down its mouth, and just sort of you see it slowly clogging in its beak, and it just sort of plops forward off the bar in front of Tink, just sort of face first, dagger in beak, never to speak again.
Okay. And how is Mira looking?
Well, I'm at 9 hit points. So.
Okay.
So this fella who's wrestling currently with Kelm, he's gonna try and just outmuscle him and just chuck him aside. And he does it with ease. And he just sort of heaves Kelm past him, looking intently upon his target. Kelm was pretty lucky to get that grapple win, I'll say that.
Yeah.
He heaves him past, and is Anstis' size small or medium?
Small.
Halflings are small, I think.
Yes, I think I'm small.
Okay, so he can just be in the same space as you then, right?
Probably.
I believe that's how that goes.
Yeah, if he's medium or bigger. Which.
Yeah, he's large. So
Yeah.
a large creature can take the same space as a small creature, like they're in between their legs, kind of thing.
Oh no! Wait, but he's naked.
Ew!
Oh yeah,
Why?
you totally are. You're
Why
totally right under the
not?
loincloth. Oh, man.
Why?
I apologize, but you are under this horrible loincloth of doom.
Anstis's eyes are burning. Oh no.
Ew.
Describe what you see.
How much damage do her eyes take?
She's blinded for the rest of the campaign.
Oh no.
That is his turn, though. So it is back to Morella.
Oh boy, I can, as a bonus action, move my hunter's mark over to him.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna roll the hit now. I don't know which dice to use. 18, 19, 20, 22, 24. 24.
Yep.
Great. 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 points of damage.
Jeez.
Your DPS machine.
Hunter's Mark is my new best friend.
Okay. Anything else with your turn?
I'm just gonna, like, I don't, like, I'm looking around and I'm just surprised and, you know what, just wow. I'm having a moment. She's, yeah, keep going.
Okay, Kinsel.
Very aware of the bigger threat here. I'm going to ignore the bird, attack the ogre-esque individual. Pack tactics gives me advantage because I have another ally within 5 feet.
Okay.
19 on the die. That's a
right.
+5 to hit.
Yeah, you got him.
And now I am large as well, so he still succumbs to that potential to go prone. I imagine his strength is pretty good, but not good damage though. 2, so 4 plus 3, 7 points of damage and a DC strength saving throw. DC 13.
Oh, that's a natural one.
Yeah!
Wow, what?
I am so sorry because he's about to fall on top of.
I mean, is it a pounce kind of thing or what?
It's just my bite has that equipped to it. So a target is a creature, it must succeed on the strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Yeah, I don't see any way Anstis of make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm very dexterous.
Because you might get smushed by what's underneath the loincloth.
No,
I don't want
do
that on me.
Oh,
Anstis
no.
will be very mad.
Talk about traumatizing.
Straight up,
Oh, that's
straight up
so
teabagged by a giant.
Oh god, that's a 16.
All right, got it by 1.
Oh, wow. Whew.
Anstis
Oh my God.
screams so
See?
loud.
You see some really horrifying things beneath the loincloth just moving down towards you.
No!
And you luckily roll out just at the last second
While screaming at the top of her lungs.
as the fellow hits the floor.
Amazing.
He's sort of in a pile on the ground, just doesn't really know what's going on, much like the Kenku sort of doesn't know better than to quit the mission that he's been on. But he's just going to flail about and going to make a couple of attacks on the little one running between his legs. And does
Me?
a... Yep. And does a 18 and a 12.
18 is my armor class.
Okay. So... let's see what he's gonna do. Where the heck did you go? He's gonna do 10 damage to you as he sort of scrawls out with a big, just
God.
nasty club, kind of like flailing as he falls. And he will spend his movement to just stand back up, propping himself up with the club after his attack.
Oh, that was awful.
What
And,
is prone? Like, just what Can someone just describe prone like you're unable to take action, or?
No,
No, you're able. You can just stand up with half of your movement, but if you're prone, like during your turn, it's disadvantage for people attacking you from range, advantage for people attacking you from close.
Got it. Okay.
I have to do a concentration check.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't remember how those work.
Constitution
You just
check.
have to beat a 10 with your with a Constitution saving throw.
My constitution is not good, Mira. I am sorry. I'm sorry I dropped the spell.
That's okay. That's
Um,
cool.
So
I was just scarred for life, though, so you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
before you,
That's
you
totally
see
fair.
this horrifying elfin ogre. Just looks so unnatural, and you see it just beginning to just claw towards. Is Tink small?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stomping on his own Kenku guy. He's just clawing towards Morella,
Great.
even though he looks bloody.
Is he still in my range, or do I get an attack of opportunity?
Nope, you're still. He like technically contains all 4 of those squares.
Ugh.
What about me?
Yeah, you do.
All right.
Fuck him up.
Still have advantage thanks to pack tactics. What do we got? 14 on the die, 19 to hit.
Yep, you hit him.
Ooh, baby. Decent damage. 10 plus 3, 13.
Okay. So, you see this guy just sort of using his club as like almost like a walking stick, just sort of dragging himself and clawing out towards Morella. And Morella, you see this horrifying thing that you'd, for your whole childhood, thought was pretty much a nightmare. And as it's clawing towards you, you just see like it's like, and then all of a sudden it just kind of goes down and just kind of like, and it drops down as you see just a wolf just clawed into its back like a spider monkey, and it's just Kinsel's there and it's just shredded this guy up as it tried to escape his watch. He's dead, man. A dead elf ogre man. And that's back to Morella herself.
You missed me.
And there's only.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
To what?
Yeah, that was my bad. I forgot that Anstis's reaction roll was not her actual turn. Yeah, go ahead.
So we only have this little guy left?
Yep.
I don't want to question them.
Can they speak?
They can,
Kind
but
of.
they use the voices of other people to speak. Like
Also,
ravens.
they're not
they
very
can do
smart.
mimicry. No,
So,
but they know enough.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cast sleep on this
Okay.
little guy. So
but I think there's no saving throw, right? It's just like a matter of hit points or something.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I have to roll 5d8. 12. Nice. 24. 30 total. So really good. 5d8. So I'm assuming he doesn't have more than 30 hit points.
No.
Yeah. So he's just
Yeah, so he
sleep.
drifts off to sleep.
Go to
Because,
sleep, you.
And that's that. Nice job, guys.
Morella just sits down on the bar, like cross-legged, and her bow is just sort of next to her dejectedly, and she puts her hand, like her head in her hands, and you can't quite tell if she's crying or not.
Well, Anstis, I saw what you did. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all.
I'm scarred for life. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm just gonna sit.
Yeah, it's not just ogre junk. It's tortured elf ogre junk.
Ugh.
It's even worse.
Yeah, Can I make a perception check just to make sure if I smell any of these kenku, or probably just kenku? I haven't seen anything else. Oh, I guess that work.
Sure. Any particular reason you want it to be smell?
Just to-
Oh, because you're a wolf. Or
I'm a
is
wolf.
that-
Yeah. I'm a
Okay.
wolf. I have
Forgot
keen
about that.
hearing and smell. So yeah, just to see if there's anything else in the area. Make sure.
Yeah, sure.
12 plus 3, so 15.
Give it a little sniff. To your nose, I know it's always annoying when DMs do this, but as far as you know,
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. If I'm assuming the threat is gone, I will shift back.
yes, you do assume the threat's gone.
Okay.
You see something next that you don't expect, which is, and you see the Capron bartender and sort of a measly sort of halfling female cook standing behind him, and he stands there with his gun, and he says, "I hope you can understand."
Morella's still got her head in her hands.
Cowardice is one way to protect yourself.
He puts his head down so you can just kind of see the horns coming out, sort of winding around, and he breaks eye contact with everyone and just puts his head down.
Am I missing a social cue? Did he know they were there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bought off.
I think I'll be taking that pipe. Oh, I totally ruined it. All for a damn pipe.
Yeah, that's how he's been getting by.
He can still hear us though, right?
You don't know.
Well, sorry guys, we probably could have asked some questions, but
I don't know if he's the one that we need to ask questions to.
Do we need to ask questions? I can probably do some tricks to get him back out.
maybe he
Helm
knows something.
Stands up in the back and sort of dusts himself off after being tossed across the room like a little one, and he sort of stands near the Kenku and says, "How long you got this one knocked out for, Tink?"
How long does this shit last? Not much longer.
How long does it last?
A minute.
Alright, well. I'm gonna
Get
wipe
ready.
my face off. I'm just gonna wipe my face off and I'm gonna get down off of the bar. And I'm gonna notch an arrow and point it at the Kenku, point blank. Yeah.
Fine by you all if I grab this one when he wakes?
Yes.
Yeah. Anstis is gonna go get her dagger from the dead one and join the
Okay.
others.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna try and chat to the guy through the wall. So I'm in the background just blabbering. You don't really know what I'm saying.
Okay. So the Kenku wakes up. Kelm takes him by the arms and points him face to face with Morella's arrow.
Hello there. I have a few questions for you.
Okay, hold on. I have to read this a little bit. They're actually not as dumb as I thought.
Yeah, no, Kenku they're crafty. Is what they are. They're sly.
Yeah, about that though.
Oh boy.
Hmm.
DM.
Its head is bowed down, and what was the question you said?
Said I have a few questions for you.
Oh, it just sort of doesn't respond and just keeps looking down.
You know you're going to die, right? That's not a secret.
Ooh.
It's so weird. It's like the weirdest character to try to communicate as ever.
I know. Sorry.
It's like if it wants to ask for money, make the sound of clinking coins.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Can't,
hell?
they work through mimicry like ravens do. So.
It just looks up and nods.
Good. Did you speak to Lady Riska herself?
It plays it relays back like an audio kind of clip, and it kind of says, "You will follow Dothron's orders."
In Lady Riska's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that would be the one. Tall, austere, constantly looks like she has a bad smell under her nose.
And then it says another bit in Lady Riska's voice, and it says, "You know, when I found you, and I had that silver tooth implanted in your beak, should you be captured, you will knock it out and swallow it, or I will hunt you down personally." And as it finishes that sentence, it sort of slurps its tongue to its beak, eating a silver tooth that is attached inside, and sort of begins to seize and foam at the mouth, and dies in Kelm's arms.
I lower my arrow. And I just rub my temples. Thank you all. Thank you. I honestly thought that if I left, she would leave me alone. But apparently not. I didn't mean to put you all in danger. She says, like, as she's like clutching her side, she's like bleeding. Yeah.
It's okay. You have more hit points than I do right now.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's bad.
I wouldn't have survived another hit.
Oh no.
Jeez, I didn't realize you took that much damage.
Well, she got hit. She was only going to get directly smashed by
the ogre elf.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy who has a hard time hitting, but when he does, it's
I
bad.
don't have a lot of constitution.
Yeah.
As you guys are seeing this Kenku die, and Morella sort of breathes slightly easily, the sliding door opens up another crack, and you just kind of see the Capran's sort of goat mouth, and he says, "Not that you trust me, but you're welcome to stay the night. We can live a few days in here, and, well, we plan to. But there's rooms upstairs. Goodbye."
I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy in the kitchen to make creepy whispers.
Do you need line of sight?
It just says within range.
Okay. You can't hear the whispers because it's pretty well sealed, but you do hear the sound of a halfling woman and a goat man just screaming and sort of frantically running around inside, and pans are dropping and stuff.
And just giggles.
Don't torture the people. This woman that wants you dead, you said things were awkward. This seems like a long way to go to kill someone. You must. Did you cross her in some way?
I was born.
Ah. Your father then cheated on her?
My father is Lord Hightower. Lady Riska is his wife. They were married, not very long when my father met my mother. Not a noble woman, just a ranger like me. Her name's Brina Galanadel. And then I was born. And around the same time that I was born, my brother, Eric, was born. And my father decided that since I had been born, since his tryst had resulted in a child, that he was going to care for me as he would any of his other children. So he decided that I would be raised alongside my true-born brothers and sisters in their house. My mother was moved in as well. So my mother and I grew up in Castle Hightower with the rest of my family. I suppose Lady Riska had to deal with another woman in the house and a bastard daughter that she despised. She's always hated me, but I never thought that she would do anything like this. It's just, she never showed how much she hated me. If anyone else was around, if my father was around, if my siblings were around, it was all politeness and cordial smiles, and as soon as we were alone in the room, you could see how much she hated me. I didn't do anything. I was born, and that's enough for her. She hated
Forgive
me.
my intrusion.
Mira jumps.
Should your father die, who would become the heir?
My brother Eric.
Should he fall ill or die, who would become the heir?
My sister Dana.
You have no stake in the throne.
No, I'm a bastard daughter. I am in no way in line for succession. I have 4 true-born siblings who would inherit, and if something happened to them, I don't know. I don't know what would happen.
The great arcanist Osco used to say, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
I suppose you could say that's true.
I'm not much for idioms or colloquialisms, but seems applicable.
I would have to agree if I were you, yes. So it's always been an awkward situation.
Anstis is gonna pat Mira on the elbow because that's about what she can reach.
Cut.
And say, well, you're here with us now, and you're one of us. And if she sends more, we will take them down until she stops sending them.
Thank you.
Because that's not right. And you seem like a good person.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Tink's gonna like scurry around behind the back of the bar and try and find like some decent, like the best looking wine that's there, and then pour Morella a glass or a cup, and bring it to her.
Thank you. I'm sure I could use that.
Kelm doesn't see Tink behind the bar due to height issues, but he says, "Hey, pour me one, would you?"
Whiskey, 10 times the amount.
That's the usual.
Oof.
So would you guys like to stay here, or?
I want to go and get whatever that fancy ass necklace that Duthrin was wearing. I'm gonna take that and look at it, examine it. I assume it doesn't have any magical properties left, but
Well,
Let's
not exactly.
loot the bodies.
Yeah, roll a group investigation check, and then I'm gonna give Morella sort of dibs on Duthrin's stuff.
oh, my investigation shit. So I'm glad that roll was okay.
And so it's a 9.
18.
Wow, 25.
13.
Nice.
Comes pretty good as well. So between everybody, you find 200 gold pieces.
Oh, snap!
You
Whoa.
gather that these guys were carrying their pay on them, or Duthrin had it with him. So that'll just get divided 5 ways
Sure.
between the group. So 40 apiece.
40 apiece.
Wow. Get money.
For Anstis, Kinsel, and Tink and Kelm have free reign to take any simple weapons or just mangled armor that you want if you have any use for it.
I don't know if it matters, but I got 23, not 25. I apologize. I don't know if it matters now.
Oh my! Get off. Log off. No. No. So yeah, you guys. There's blunt knives from the Kenku that they had. There's a really lovely smelling loincloth from a bloody, mushy ogre.
Ooh.
Anstis vomits just a little bit in her mouth.
That's appropriate.
Yeah. Are there any like not awful daggers, or are they all like blunt and terrible?
The orc has a pretty. I mean, you get the idea that Duthran just sort of took the kind of the most brainless, just kind of peasant guys he could get to bring with him. He probably hired him here on Enthus. But the man himself has a couple of things on him.
Okay.
In his bow, there is this sort of golden kind of amulet that kind of has like spider legs that are dug into the handle. It doesn't look like it's a part of the bow. It looks like it's like something that you would put onto a bow. So it kind of like digs in.
Okay.
And there's like, you notice a little like trigger on it. Also, he has, his bow is like pretty nice. I would say it's a good solid long bow if you wanted to take it as well.
Nicer than mine?
It's
Or about the same, on par?
Yeah, it is nicer than yours. Not in any like statistical way, but it's a nice bow.
Okay.
It might not be your aesthetic. It's kind of like black and sleek and sort of bad guy looking, but
Yeah.
Hey,
But
we can refinish that for you.
it's nice. Yeah, you guys are about to head to one of the. How much do you know about Congers Canyon?
Not a lot.
Nothing. Good spoiler though, bro.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to find something there. So, do you want to take the bow or just a little thingy on it?
I'll take both, but I'll take the thing off of it and see like if maybe it would be put on my bow. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll figure that out.
When you reach for it, it goes. When you reach to pull it off, it goes, and it goes flat. So it's like kind of like an amulet with like 6 just like flat sort of spidery kind of golden legs.
Okay.
So it kind of goes,
Okay.
and that's that. The other thing that is on him is the necklace that he threatened you with. Used to be glowing a rich sort of periwinkle, and now is dull and gray and empty. But it does look nice. I mean, it looks like a nice bit of jewelry or something.
Ooh, okay.
And Tink, you roll an investigation check.
Uh, 15.
Okay, so you get a pretty good lay of the back behind the bar. You see a couple of bottles of fine wine that are corked and ready to go for a long haul.
Yeah, I'm gonna
They
take those.
They have some like twine around them, so they're easily transportable. And you also see behind a couple of just old dirty mugs, a box of fine bullets.
Okay. I'll take them.
And that's pretty much what you see and what you got.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to move on ahead, or do you want to try and stay here?
I want to drink until I fall asleep.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty broken right now. I'm bleeding a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm a sit and drink with Mira.
So you guys drink for a little while. Kelm goes upstairs to investigate the rooms, clear them for any bad guys. Kinsel's scent has given a pretty clear picture that there's no other crow creatures or anything that would give off too distinct of a scent around. And there are a cluster of pretty nice rooms upstairs. And for the first time, you guys find some proper accommodations with some pails of clean water, like warm blankets and beds that aren't shredded and tattered like they were in Hokata Bay. Quarters that have closed doors. You could have some privacy where the walls aren't pulled down. And you find yourself a nice little place to sleep, free of charge, as it were.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Tink's gonna head right up there, get all cuddled up under a bunch of blankies, and just go sleep.
Little blanket fort. You guys had a tough fight and are ready for a nice long rest. With the aid of a few drinks, you sleep real soundly, real nicely. But we're still going to do a night watch check.
Okay.
Is there a way, if I have animal forms left over, can I utilize them in the watch check?
Sure. I mean, when the 5 members of the party do the watch, it's assumed that each person would take an equal part. So, I mean, you could do the watch however you want. If you want to do your watch like as a wolf, there's no reason you couldn't.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I'll just do that. Assuming I haven't used them in the day, I will utilize them during the night watch. 15 on my check.
21 for
Is this
mine.
just passive perception, or what is this?
This is just a straight up perception check.
Okay. I rolled a 10 as well.
Marilla, what'd you have?
21.
Actually, am I proficient?
Okay, so Marilla sort of stumbling up to her bed, a little drunk. She
Vaguely tipsy.
she sleeps. She just kind of falls on top of the covers, and in the middle of the night, she sort of realizes that even though she's drunk and tired, she's not like sleeping well. But she puts the pieces together drunkenly and sort of repositions herself underneath the covers where she belongs, and proceeds to get a good night's sleep. And what happened there was, I'll just explain so you guys understand. Depending on what I roll on the night watch table that I made, there's a chance that someone could get a bad night of sleep.
Oh.
But because you rolled well on your perception, you were able to avoid it.
Good to know.
Simple on top of the covers, under the covers type stuff.
Oh, yeah, just like half asleep, half drunk. Like, oh, I see. Okay,
You perceived the covers.
This is how beds work.
She's been drinking. She's had a rough day.
So you guys wake up fully rested. Your wounds have healed by the magic of Dungeons and Dragons. One simple night of sleep heals your grievous injuries. You come downstairs, and the cooking window is open, and the Captain is actually outside of it on the other side of the bar. And Kelm is there. If we could still assume he's taking the last watch. And Kelm has prepared a breakfast with this guy's ingredients. And you get a traditional breakfast with eggs and bacon and some nice hot cakes. And he serves it up, and everyone kind of sits there, and the Captain is sitting at the window ready to like dart back through at a moment's notice. the halflings in the kitchen sort of watching out as well. They look like tired as all get out. They've been freaked out from those whispers and they're paranoid and they don't look like they've slept. So as you all enjoy your breakfast, you see Kelm slurping up some eggs and he's sort of looking around to see if anyone mentions anything.
About the food? Because Morello is going to thank him.
Well, he was going to see if anyone took any umbrage about him eating eggs. But
Oh, really?
No.
But just as an out of character thing, like Aarakocra eating eggs and stuff, or Aarakocra, Ornek, or Kenku or anything, it's kind of the same as like, I don't know, like a lion eating a gazelle. They're just like higher enough on the food chain where it's kind of like, it's not too cannibalistic or anything.
Good to know.
However you want to justify it.
But he is kind of like, because he really loves eggs. So he's like,
No one cares that he's eating eggs.
No.
okay. So, took you guys about a day to get here. And puts you well on your way to Cunger's Canyon. Just a bit of the day's travel and you should arrive there.
Okay. Good to know.
Cool. On the way, I'm going to walk up to Morella
Mhm.
and say, I crafted this for you before I went to bed. And then I'm going to hand her this, like, weird-ass looking... It's, like, mostly made of Hawaiian, like, corkscrews. But it's got some, like, pretty looking gems inside. And it's all kind of clustered. It's not really organized or anything like that. And then it's got just, like, a leather band that goes around it. And just say, keep this on you. You might need it today. You had a rough day yesterday.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely.
And then you get advantage on either an attack, a check, or a save today. Whatever you
Nice.
want to do.
I need somewhere to write that down. Hold on.
Yeah, my quirk's kind of annoying to keep track of for everyone, but
But it's pretty cool.
yeah, I like it, and it's useful. And also, I wanted to point out as well, DM Sama, that I rolled a 1 on one of my divination rolls, so that could be a very funny, timely, natural one for somebody.
I don't know exactly how this works. I should probably have read up on it.
Do you want me to read it?
Is that for today?
Yeah, so it's every long rest.
Yeah, let's hear what it is.
Okay. Starting at second level, when you choose the school, glimpses of the future begin to press in on your awareness. When you finish a long rest, roll 2d20s and record the numbers rolled. You can replace any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check made by you or a creature that you can see with one of these foretelling rolls. You must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. Each foretelling roll can be used only once. When you finish a long rest, you lose any unused foretelling rolls.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, and we'll pick it up at maybe a different time of how it would affect you. Right? Can it happen later, like some kind of luck thing that would happen later, or?
So from my understanding, like basically, when something happens, with this one that I rolled, I can say, you don't need to roll. I'm gonna foresee this, and you're gonna do terribly. Here's the one. I think that's right.
Oh.
But
I see. Do you have to do that though, or
Do
are you required to?
no, I mean, if I don't use them, but I can use it on any creature that I can see. So I could use it on an enemy if Kinzel's climbing, and I'm like, oh, I just want to make him fall.
Got it.
Here's a natural one.
Noted.
So, but I feel like I should tell you when I get 1s or 20s. Otherwise, I just won't tell you.
Yeah. I see now. Appreciate it. So, as you travel north, it is still very beautiful in the southern spikes, as it usually is. The lake looks beautiful in the morning. Just seems to catch the sun in such a nice and particular way. And it sort of illuminates your journey. And as you travel forth, you begin to see the sort of dirt, sandy grassy kind of cross section of the Featherfawn Wood and the shore of the lake, you start to see a sort of golden rock or a red bit of dust here and there. And soon the ground sort of starts to change from sort of a dirt and like forested landscape to just sort of a red rocky ground. And ahead of you, you can see these large sort of carving, not mountains, but just kind of like plateaus that are just cut at the tops, just sort of very far off in the distance. And you see some statues far off in the distance that must be massive. One in particular seems especially massive. And as you approach them closer, they begin to kind of come into focus. You see this big, cheesy, hold on, I want to see if I can find like a slightly more appropriate music for this. After today, I'm really excited because I'm going to have time to like reapproach the music. So like every music will go with everything. But for now, it is what it is. No, but I don't like that one either. Okay, this one I guess we'll do. Okay, so you approach and you see this like springing up of signs, just these big cheesy signs with big block lettering that say, "Welcome to Kunger's Canyon." And as you approach, far down in the distance, you can see like there's like a line drawn on the ground. And like all of the signs are like just behind this line. And you approach this line and there's just signs and it's like, "Welcome to Kunger's Canyon, welcome to Kunger's Canyon, welcome to Kunger's Canyon." And the second that you step over the line, a little goblin with a bright yellow collared shirt, blue overalls, and like a brown hat flipped up in the front, you know, like a prospector. He just pops up in front of you and he's like, "Welcome to Kunger's Canyon. I am Kunger. I will help you on your journey, and I will take you to where you need to go. Would you like to buy a little trinket, a little sculpture, a little this?" And then as he's like talking to you, another guy bursts, like pushes him over, and this time it's like a big orc, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Kunger. Welcome to my canyon. Would you like me to be your tour guide, or would you like a map, or would you like a brochure?" And then like a human pushes that guy out of the way, and he's like, "No, I'm Kunger. These guys are just amateurs. I could take you, show you all the best restaurants, all the best places, just for a small fee." And you're soon like accosted by just like all these people, and they're all wearing a bright yellow shirt, blue overalls, and like a flipped up prospector's hat. And they're all claiming that they're the real Kunger. And they're all they want you to buy these little tchotchkes and things like that. And as you're being surrounded by all these guys, you look up and notice this towering statue of this figure. And it has a very strange look to it because it seems to have a bit of any and every race. And it does have this collared shirt and these baggy overalls and this flipped up brown hat. And it has sort of slightly pointy teeth, but not that pointy, and a slightly pointy nose, but not too pointy, and maybe a little pointy ears. It's just a very, very ambiguous looking figure. And it's just standing there with a giant pickaxe as tall. It's probably 7 or 8 stories high. And you just look up at this thing and you gather that this is Kunger, as it's called. Beyond all of these men that are sort of trying to sell you little keychains, you see the skyline of a city, and it's standing up on stilts, so you can see straight through it. Not too high, it's probably like 20 or so feet in the air, but you see this giant sort of hammered together wooden kind of town standing up on these stilts, and it's still sort of atmospherically clouded to you, but yeah, if you can make it through all of these people, then maybe you can get there.
The way you said that means like I feel like they're going to attack us.
I mean, they kind of are attacking you. with deals.
Can I roll an insight check to see which one believes the most that they are Kunger?
Sure.
All right. 18.
None of them believe that they're Kunger, but what you do believe is that they feel that they can make a lot of money.
Okay. So they're skeevy. Got it.
But yeah, none of them believe that
Right.
they are in fact these so-called Kunger.
I'm going to cast thaumaturgy to make the sound of thunder right behind all those guys, like really loud, like it's crashing down right behind them.
You see a couple of different people like sprout up, and they're like, "It's a stampede!" And they all sort of clear out of the way, and then they kind of look
Amazing.
around
Go,
to find no stampede.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Are we moving?
Let's go, quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Book it.
Okay, so you guys kind of scuffle through. All of the Kungers are thinking there's a stampede coming from the thunder sound, and as they gain their composure, realizing they've been bamboozled, you're lucky enough to pass by a family who's walking in the opposite direction of you, who are then accosted in a completely different way, like party gifts, postcards, and they're just swarming them. And it's quite a sight to see so many different races of people wearing the exact same outfit and just sort of herding around in this weird way. It's very bizarre. You hear a voice from Kelm's back, and just so we're clear, none of them were really Kunger.
Oh, really? Really?
I had no idea.
Didn't know. No.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Oh.
Mira, did you know?
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Well, if I wasn't going to take my long rest after this journey, I could help you all get a bit smarter. So you approach, you see a couple more smaller, not the main giant one that you first saw, but a couple smaller statues to this sort of this uniracial kind of character standing there proudly with his hat and his pickaxe. And you approach the city, and as the closer you get, the higher up it feels to you on these stilts. And through the legs of the city, you can just see these dipping, diving canyons. And it looks really beautiful. The sky is like piercingly blue, and the cliffs are just glowing orange and red. And you just hear the nicest like hustle and bustle and of a place that is in full working order. And there's a ramp that's just there to greet you. And it's kind of a gangplank that has these big wooden slats on it so that you can kind of plug your way up, because it is kind of steep. And as you climb up, you see just people everywhere and deals, and about 100 more of these Kunger guys running around and trying to do their thing. It seems that everybody, whether they look up to this guy or whether they think they can make money off of him or what, or if he's even a real guy, people have really bought into this whole thing. And you hear Browser from Kelm's back, and he says, "Welcome to Camp Kunger. You'll know soon why I skipped this place when I left Kunger's Canyon."
Should we not skip it then?
You all will be fine, but automatons such as myself can be, scrapped.
Ooh. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Is it possible that these individuals are the ones that took your memory drive?
Hard to group all of them together, but The ones who took my drive ran to the mountains, not back to Camp Kunger.
I see.
So you guys sort of make your way into the thick of this sort of bustling city. And for the first time since you've landed on Enthis, you are in a thriving sort of town that looks like commerce is happening, performers, schemers, anything you could think of. You see stores, restaurants, taverns, and you're ready to sort of move forward in your adventure and see if you can't help this strange automaton find his memory core somewhere out there in the canyon.
Would this be considered a city?
In Enthis, there aren't really cities per se, because a lot of the they're mostly known as territories. The territories have some have like big towns in them, but some territories just are the city, depending on how big they are. So it's hard to.
Well, would it be urban?
Yeah, it would be urban.
Okay, so that works with my background. City secrets.
Fancy.
Yeah.
So, we are going to have a little cutscene. Camera zooms far, far across the sea.
Oh no.
And what you see is you see a woman's hand holding sort of a glass diamond, and it's glowing a bright periwinkle blue. And all of a sudden, a big flume of smoke flies into it, and the light goes kaput. And standing there is Lady Riska. And she says calmly to a figure standing nearby, I know that she knows about us. If this gets out, all of my plans will be ruined. The dark figure becomes clear and is the spitting image of the one you encountered in the tavern, a bald elf with glowing purple eyes, though this one looks a little bit more well-built, a little bigger. And he says, she doesn't know about us, nor does your husband.
Ugh.
My brother Dothron was weak. And if you're so concerned about this little bastard, I'll hunt her down myself and do the job right this time. And that's where we're going to end.
Oh no.